Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Good morning, everybody. It's game day. Game frickin' day. We've been waiting for this moment for I don't know how long. And we're fired up, ladies and gentlemen. We got our Lions gear on. Flannel's got the blue flannel on. Lucas, he's decked out Lions gear, ready to go.
Baby. CJ Gardner-Johnson debuts.
We got JB in the booth. He's got the Meat Missile shirt on. Is that...
Oh,
yeah,
that's correct.
That's the Meat Missile shirt.
Meat Missile.
Look at JB's fired up. We got a very special guest to join us early on the show, and that's, Uncle T. How could you not have a little dose of Uncle T on game day? What have you been up to? You tell me you're going to a class after this. You're going to
I
a little workout.
have a exercise class called Body Pump.
You going to body pump?
What?
Have you done body?
How do you know?
No,
What?
I've done body pump many a time in my life.
Oh yeah,
It's fun.
it is
Body
fun.
pump.
Are we missing out on
But
something?
you know what? Every class, at some point, I say I'm not gonna do this. I start cursing because there's always a part where the idea is to build up your heart rate and then it goes down and you build it back up and it's full of weights. And I get, what in the bleep am I doing here?
Is this your first?
old.
What class is this for you? Is this your first one, or you've been doing?
No, I did it a few years ago. Then my wife, Dr. Fauci, made me quit because of COVID, and now I've been back for like 3 months.
Let's see, I love it. Look at that, Uncle T getting out there. They just wrapped up the Lions Insider Show, Woodward in Maine, and it had a pretty good turnout. People were loving it. Now we're fired up. It's the morning Woodward Show. We got a packed show planned for you guys today. Obviously, a lot of game day, stuff to get into, the matchups and so on and so forth. But we're also going to have some special guests on. We got Matt Broder, joining us in the second hour. We also have a special guest at 9 o'clock, Ron Kopp Jr., lead analyst for Arrowhead Pride, which
From
is
the other side.
Yeah, it's the other side.
We're going behind enemy lines for you this morning.
We are. Ron Kopp, he covers the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to have him on at 9 o'clock, give us updates on Kelsey, Chris Jones, so on and so forth. Can't wait for that as well. And then 9:30, it's the day. We give our game predictions. We're going to get those out. And then later on, we got our Lions pregame show. So you guys are going to want to stick through the entire network today. A lot of Lions, Chiefs themed stuff going on. But I just want to say before we start, welcome everybody in the chat right now. If you haven't already, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm of the show, helps the network as well. Matthew Lalonde said, shout out to Jeff Flannel, Lucas, JB, and Terry. All of the best LFG Lions.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Eric Burrow says 14-3 season starts tonight. Ooh. Well, we'll have to run that by Uncle T.
Depending on how tonight looks.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, we can say that. That's fine. It's a day to drink Kool-Aid.
Let
I
the
understand
Kool-Aid
that.
flow.
And this is why I wanted to bring Uncle T, because he'll kind of simmer everyone down a little bit here with the 14-3 stuff. What do you got the Lions at this year?
I picked them winning 11 games.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't want to give away what I got because we'll go through it in about 10 minutes. But I think 11 is fair. I've seen, 13-4. I've seen 14-3. I've heard Ryan Ermanni say that they're going to blow the Chiefs out.
Okay, you can't listen to Ryan Ermanni. You know what his
He
nickname?
said it.
You know what I call him? Howdy doody. Everything is great. Michigan's going to win a national title. The Lions are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win 15 games. Pistons are going to win 65 games. You can't listen to Howdy Doody.
No. And listen, even me, like I get called a Pistons slappy a lot. I don't even do that. I'm not over here saying the Pistons are going to win 55 games.
You do love Killian Hayes, though.
No, I do not.
That's your boy, Killian Hayes.
No, JB.
JB's the voice of reason. Is that not...
Killian Hayes is done, dude.
Killian
I'm
is
out.
your boy. Come on now.
How is he my boy? I don't.
Oh, he's your boy. You can't defer JB.
Okay, okay. I guess he's my boy. You're right. But screw it. No Pistons today. It's only Lions talk today.
He does
so.
have good hair.
Thank you, Uncle T. I appreciate that. Another news, too, as well. I wanted to run through this before we get into our the game predictions itself. Some interesting stats just overall for the game itself. Kansas City have a 9-5 overall record against the Lions all-time. Mahomes 5-0 with Andy Reid, 1,500 passing yards, 18 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions in his 5 games playing home openers with Andy Reid. His passer rating 136.9. So ridiculous. Jared Goff 4-2 in home openers in his career, 1,500 passing yards, 9 passing touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Passer rating of 88.6. And of course, the Kansas City Chiefs also have a record of 4-3 without Chris Jones all time.
Ooh,
fun fact.
4-3, which is worse than their overall record would be when Chris Jones plays, I would presume. That's why I keep saying, and I'll get into this a little bit more later, the path is definitely there for the Lions to go into Arrowhead and pull off the upset, and it's because with the potential roster depletions for the Chiefs, maybe it's not even that much of an upset. Maybe the Lions are actually better than this version of the Chiefs. Maybe. I'll get into it more later.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, Lucas, how you feeling this morning, man? You fired up?
Brother, I am juiced. I woke up today feeling like it was Christmas morning. And I told Flan, I was like, I think we're going to have a good Christmas. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, never not played together. So if Travis Kelce is not out there, it's going to this Chiefs offense could look drastically different. But I think we got 500 people in here, plus only 64 likes. You guys not excited for Lions game day? Drop likes in the chat. We're going to have great guests for you all day. We're going to keep shows going for you all day, and we're going to finish it off with the Lions live stream and post-game show. So we're going to have tons of content for you guys. We'll have it all covered all day, baby.
And also, and this is why I love going to Lucas on this, Uncle T, because he's like and he gets me juiced up sometimes. Like he's full of energy. He's ready to go. Excited for the Lions season, as he should be, as we all should be. But what are you feeling? Are you confident? Are you kind of skeptical? Are you one of the, I got to see it guys? Like, what's your thoughts headed into week 1?
I have morphed from I got to see it to I'm confident that this team is going to not only have a good season, but have a good 4 or 5 year stretch. What I have seen for the first time in my damn life, good organization, coaching staff, and front office that see things eye to eye. They're bringing in good players. They've changed the culture, because when I was a journalist and I used to go out to first Pontiac and then Allen Park, and I would interview players. As soon as I started talking about culture, they'd walk away from me. So
didn't exist,
because they knew I was up to no good. So they're like, we're not going to deal with this. But now when you talk about culture, like, yeah, let's talk about it. We're excited about it. So that's a lot of differences that I've seen over my lifetime. I never believed in the Detroit Lions. I knew they were clowns. But it's different now.
It's a new day?
Yeah, it's a new day.
To this day!
And at least for Terry to say it, it's even more significant because, like, we talk about national media and how they've kind of changed the narrative a little bit, and everyone's been gassing up the Lions. It's almost like it's a long-lost cousin you kind of feel bad for. And everyone's like, you know what, I'm rooting for the Lions. They're cute. They're going to do some good things this year. Finally, I'm rooting for them. But for you to root for them is even bigger.
Now, I got to tell you about my weekend. You know where I was last weekend?
What were you doing?
Chicago for a wedding.
Oh, jeez.
Behind enemy lines.
Bear fans are assholes, man. They're like, as soon as they found out from Detroit, they started attacking me. What's going on in Detroit? You guys actually think the Lions are going to be good? You think they're going to win the division? You think they're going to win 11, 12, 13 games? Y'all are nuts. And they don't know Dan Campbell's name. So the people I talked to said, that loudmouth coach you got over there, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh,
he's
they
won
know
3
his name.
games and he's won 9 games. Big deal.
Those are the Bears fans, and they're even worse on Twitter too. Like it just fans
the
in
Bear
general.
fans are bad. And you're not going to get to have to experience this. You know what else? The Bears fans are worse. When Southwest Airlines used to have these $29 fares to Detroit,
yeah,
and then Lion fans weren't going to games at the Silverdome and Ford Field, the Bear fans would be 15, 20, 25,000 of them coming in. And they just acted like they owned the city. They were awful.
See, that was like my first experience with that. I went to Ford Field last year. I went to the Dolphins game, and it had to be like 70% Dolphin fans. I have never experienced that. I was like, what the hell? It felt like you were at an away game.
Right.
And they still threw I mean, I don't really want to talk about the game. I mean, they were up, and then
Usually the Bears and the Cowboys do that.
yeah,
Their
that's
fan base.
but hopefully this year sold out season tickets. Hopefully you don't have that problem. It should be 80% Lions fans every single week, Sam Flannel.
Oh, 100%, because this is the most anticipated season that I can at least remember. And when we're talking about even the great Terry Foster having optimism, this is a man that lived through the early 90s when they won that playoff game against the Cowboys, but that all kind of turned out to be a bit of a fugazi because the Cowboys would go on to have a dynasty, and that would be the last Lions playoff win that they've still had. He's lived through the early 2000s Lions where they made the playoffs a couple of times before first-round exits. He's not a young pup like Lucas or Jeff Iafrate. No disrespect to you guys. He's seen it all. He's been through it all. And even you, Terry Foster, have optimism. That's saying something. That means a lot to me as somebody who's a younger Lions fan.
It's big time. And Terry...
And you know that 1992 playoff game with Dallas?
Yep.
You know what that was? That game was to decide who's going to be the next great thing. Whoever won that game was going to be the next great thing. The Lions won it, and Dallas became the next great thing.
Well,
Lions fans.
at least you could say that the Lions and the Cowboys have kind of the same amount of NFC Championship appearances in the last like 30 years. All right,
Jeff. But after that, the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I like the way I say it better. I like my way better.
My way.
But
Hollywood.
because it fits my narrative. But speaking of narrative, a narrative that actually I can get behind is the Broder and Booner show, because those guys, man. They're medicines. They're crushing it. They were on last night. If you missed them, I don't know what you're doing. 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights. Tune in. If you're looking for a nightcap, they got 2 of Detroit's newest and upcoming sports personalities. Join them every single night, Woodward Nights, with Broder and Booner from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm going to have to start calling them the final word.
Yeah, you know what? And those guys, too, I'm happy for them. But now I told Broder, I said, now you have a show. We're enemies now. We are. No, oh, no, seriousness.
You know what? I would be on their show, but that's beyond my bedtime. So
yeah, that's yeah. But guess what? All the people that you get home from work, you're chilling. You're like, I don't know what to watch. The boys are live while you're home. You know, you get out of the shower. You're like, I'm gonna try on Netflix. No, go turn on Broder and Booner, 8 to 10 p.m. on weekdays. John. Appreciate the $10. He says, happy holidays, boys and gals. Keep up the great work, WSN. Terry is my guy. Just stay away from Minnie Mouse. Lions 45. Chiefs 21.
You're happy with me and Minnie Mouse?
Should I be interested? What happened?
I heard.
What happened?
Yeah,
What happened with you and Minnie Mouse?
I had sex with Minnie Mouse.
Okay. I knew where that was going. I mean, we knew. Yeah. He's a smooth criminal, Terry. How'd you? I don't even want to. I kind of want to ask.
I was staying with a friend who worked at Disney, so I stayed at her apartment, and so she said this girl liked me. This is when I was good looking, so this one girl liked me. She happened to be Minnie Mouse, so we got together and did I even take her out to dinner? I can't even remember, but we just came back to the apartment. We smushed. She went on her way, but she was Minnie Mouse. But she didn't.
It's the porn.
She wasn't in costume, fellas.
Okay,
She was,
all
she
right.
was or was not?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't, right?
No.
Okay,
she was
it makes it a little less weird. So Terry, keep doing you, man.
It's called
keep
Terry
doing you. That's
time,
fine.
baby.
It's Terry time. And Terry's always on the clock.
Whoa, Terry!
Terry, what are you doing? Hey, yo!
Oh my God, you guys are sickos.
But in costume,
man.
she's not allowed to speak.
No.
That's right.
Sam Flannel, could you tell everybody at home where they can get the best haircut if they want to get it cut before the Lions game?
Hey, of course, if you want to get the best haircut before the Lions game, you go to Lady Jane's, because they always have me looking as fly as always, because all their stylists do such a great job. And you can come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
A you a diehard college football fan? Well, it's your lucky day. Join special WSN guests like Spencer Raxter, Flannel Sam, and more every Saturday. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Saturdays and tune in live from 8:30 to 10 a.m.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Downtown's newest sports bar, 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and restaurant. 5 Iron Leagues are back, debuting on September 11th. Go sign up, or as an individual, or if you get a team or you get placed on a team, use code Woodward10 for 30% off your league. That is 5irongolf.com to sign up. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate everybody for choosing us on game day, the morning of game day. If you could, hit the like button on the stream. It supports not only the show, but the network as well. And you can always go back and re-listen to any of our shows on any podcast platform you get your podcasts. Morning Woodward Show, leave a 5-star review. Uncle T just joined us there to give us some
wisdom.
Yes, that was wisdom. Like that's true wisdom from Uncle T there. So appreciate him for that. Let's get into Lions records because that's what we're gonna do now. I want to get our records out there, and we didn't really get into it. We went through our schedule yesterday as a group project. We ended up with 12-5. Let's see how our individual records kind of coincide with it. We'll start with you, Sam Flannel. What do you got? How many games the Lions winning?
I have the Lions going 12-5, just like we came up with yesterday, for a couple of different reasons. One, I think the Kansas City game is now a win. The Kansas City Chiefs, with the Chris Jones and Travis Kelce being at best for them compromised and at worst out, the Kansas City Chiefs are no longer the Monstars anymore. You still got Andy Reid and you still have Patrick Mahomes, but Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, those are the kind of losses that can swing a game from a loss to a win for the Lions, and I think the Lions win that game to get them to 12-5. And also, the Lions are just a damn good football team. I think their offense is going to be top 5 again in scoring because I think personnel-wise they got even better, and their defense is going to be better as a whole throughout the season because last year they were bottom 5 in scoring defense. I think this year their floor is top 15. And also, I'll tell you what too, that Lions home schedule, it's looking pretty damn favorable, and if you want to be an NFL team that stacks up a lot of wins, you have to protect home field. You have to dominate at home. And I believe the Lions will be favored in every single game that is played at Ford Field. The toughest home game of the year, you could argue, and I would argue in favor of, is the game against Seattle in week 2, and I would say that Seattle and the Lions are equals.
Yes.
Maybe even the Lions are a little bit better, but the Lions have the home field advantage. And the last reason to me is the fact that I don't think they really have a division rival who's actually going to challenge them from the division. And you know what that means? You get to play 6 games against your division, and I think that too has 4-2, 5-1, maybe even 6-0 staring at the Lions right in the face. This isn't the AFC North where you have teams like the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns and the Steelers. This isn't the AFC East. This isn't the NFC East. This is the NFC North.
The North!
Yes, we the North. And the Lions, I mean, that's copying Toronto's catchphrase, but still, the Lions... This is
chicken or no?
Yes, thank you. This is a division that the Lions should win rather handily, and they're going to be able to feast on NFC North opponents, which I think none of them is really in the Lions league right now, although all of them might be decent. But still, everything is set up for them to go 12-5 and maybe even get the 1 seed in the NFC. I don't know if 12-5 will do it, but a 12-5 season is what I got the Lions at.
And I think that's fair, to be honest with you. I know 12 wins, it's hard to fathom for some people, but if you actually look at the schedule, you look at the NFC, and you look at the NFC North, the Lions, there's a pathway to 12 wins.
Yes.
Like, there just is. The Minnesota Vikings won 13 games last year, and they're not a 13-win roster. So I don't want to hear they can't do that. But what I will say is I think they win 11. It's one win difference. And honestly, 12, 11, who gives a damn? I do think 12 could be enough to win the NFC.
It could be, yeah.
I want to say that, too, because I think the Eagles, for what we've known them to be last year, they're 14-3. I think they take a little bit of a step back, maybe win 12 games, and maybe that's enough to win the NFC. So I think that if the Lions win 12 games, they're in contention for the NFC. That's what it is. I think there's going to be regression with Brock Purdy. I think it's just natural. I mean, the guy played perfect last year. There has to be some sort of regression this year, especially coming off that injury he sustained before he left that playoff game against the Eagles. So I'll say 11-6. I got the wins and losses per game. And to be honest with you, even starting through their first 5 games, I have them at 3-2. And that's before the Kelsey and Chris Jones injury. I had the Chiefs beating the Lions, so that's not. We'll get to that later in the show. But regardless, they can still get off to a 3-2 start, still be in first place for the division. We'll see how this trends, but they're by far the best team, in my opinion, in their division. They're more of a complete team. They have the best quarterback in their division to me, and Dan Campbell is slowly proving why he's a great head coach. So a lot on the line for them, but I think they can live up to it. Give me 11 wins. Lucas, what about you?
12-5.
Let's go.
There you go.
12-5. The Lions were 9-8 last year. You're telling me they didn't get 3 games better? I think at the minimum is 11. Floor is 11-6 for them without injury and all that. To the point of what Jeff was saying, you look around the NFC South, maybe the Saints win 11 games tops. That's probably if everything goes right for them. And I really see them being like a 10-win team. The NFC West, that's going to be competitive between the 49ers and Seahawks, but they're both 12, 13-win teams. They could easily be 11 if they have injuries. And then the NFC East is going to be the same type of way. So the Lions have the clearest path to, as far as being the favorite in the NFC North. If you just capitalize on that, you can be the number 1 in the NFC. I don't think they have to be. I think they're going to probably be the 2 or the 3. But that's perfectly okay when you consider last year they were outside of the playoffs.
Right.
So then imagine next year when you add even more talent. That's what it's all about, baby. Because it's not boom or bust this year. I think there's a couple teams around the NFL where you can say that it is for them this year. Mm-hmm. Lions, they're not that guy, pal. They're not that guy.
I love that ending. Gabrielle, what do you think? Lions, how many games are winning?
I'm 12-5 too.
12-5. Okay.
I was taken off guard the other day, and Ryan in the back came up to me and he was like, "I need your prediction now." And I was like, "Okay, I'm ready." Rolled off the tongue too easily. 12-5. I think for all the same reasons that Lucas said, they have the opportunity to make a huge step here, and I think 12-5 is that huge step.
JB.
Voice of reason.
What's up?
Tell me 17-0 right now.
Talk to us, JB.
No, I'm just kidding. What do you got?
I can't go as far as 17-0, but I do like 12-5. I think 10 wins right
there you go.
is the floor for the Lions. And just to reiterate everything you guys said as well, too, why can't we be better than what we were last year? I think there's probably a couple games on the schedule that we might be overlooking and, not really confident in the team against these opponents, but I still think 12-5 is very, very realistic.
And it's hard, man. Like, maybe that's why, and I don't want to even say I'm scared because I'm Booner.
You're scared.
No, stop
scared.
it.
You're
Stop
scared.
it. I said
You're
11.
scared.
That's fair. 11 is fair. 12 games, even though it's one game, and people would argue, well, Jeff, say 12. Like, just say 12-5. And what I will say is there's going to be a game or two you lose maybe thinking you're supposed to win. And then there's the other part, which I'm trying to factor in at the same time, which is injuries. And I'm not saying anyone significant hopefully won't go out, but you never know. Pieces of your defensive line, your offensive line, maybe Amon-Ra goes out a game. There's something that's going to happen. I think 11-6 is fair. But 12-5, I can see it. Like, yeah. I just can't. I mean, you look at the schedule, guys.
You can see it. You can sniff it.
Like, the toughest game the Lions are going to play is going to be tonight. Tonight is the toughest game, and then Seattle, of course, at week 2 at home. But I'm talking on the road, in totality, week 1 against the Super Bowl champs. You look at the rest of the schedule. I mean, besides the Seahawks and the Chiefs, I'd argue their toughest game is what? The Chargers or the Cowboys?
I'd probably say Ravens on the road.
Ravens on the road? Like, the rest of it's the NFC North on here. Like you said, you have 6 games against teams that you should beat.
You got Jordan Love.
Jordan
Kirk
Love.
Cousins.
I mean, a lot of
Justin Fields is armed.
Keep it going. Like, it's tough. So I think it's realistic they could win 12. Hell, dare I say, 13 if everything goes right.
That's what I think they're like.
Yeah.
Ceiling.
But again, you got to factor in, in the NFL, there's going to be injuries. There's going to be moments where mistakes are made, maybe coaching mistakes, not assuming it, but it could happen, or field goal missed by your guy Riley Patterson. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Who knows? So again, 11-6. Everyone has 12-5. I think it's going to be a good year regardless. People voting in the poll now. It's tied. I mean, it's pretty close. 32%, 11-6, 12-5. People are pretty dead on even with those two predictions. I see a couple people picking 13-4 and a couple people picking 10-7. Any chance this team does not win over 10 games? There's a chance, but
God, I mean,
I would be concerned.
Here's the thing. If you factor in injuries but injuries is unpredictable. I'm not even going to do that.
Let's say healthy. Any chance this team doesn't win more than 10 games?
I would say that 11 is their floor if they are healthy. And one of the reasons why they could even go to 11, or dare I say 10, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way, is the road schedule. I talk about how the home schedule lines up very, very favorably for the Detroit Lions. But still, when you go on the road, there really aren't any easy road games besides maybe Tampa Bay. But even Tampa Bay's got some nice pieces, especially at wide receiver and on defense. You look at the Chargers, at the Chiefs tonight, which I think could swing things from 12 to 11 or 10. You've got at Baltimore, at New Orleans, at Dallas, and even divisional road games are tough to win. I think that is...
They are.
Even if you're playing, even if you're the San Francisco 49ers and have to go into Arizona and play, it's still a division road game. And I think we would all agree that no team in the NFC North is going to be a dumpster fire this year. So going to any of their buildings is going to be tough. I just think the Lions are going to be able to feast at home, and I think that they're going to, at the very worst, go 1-2 in their divisional road games. I would say 2-1. So I would say that 10 wins would actually be a little bit of a disappointment. And I think the pathway is right there for 12, especially considering, and I know we're going to get into this more later, the unavailability luck that the Lions just so happen to have in their toughest game of the season, the defending Super Bowl champs. It's the perfect situation for the Lions to go play them and beat them.
Yeah, and you have to factor in a lot of things. Like, for example, injury. Like I said, that's a part of it, right? You have to not assume guys are going to get injured, but it is a long NFL season, 17 games. Guys are going to get banged up. The other part of it, and I know this is something that Lions fans don't want to hear right now, but you're not the only team that got better.
Right, of course.
That's the other part of this whole thing.
Here's the thing, though, and this is why I'm so kind of okay with it, is there not going to be a lot of teams that get a lot better after 6 weeks either. The Lions are going to have a whole nother element of their offense when Jamison Williams returns.
That's fair.
Now, even if he's at the bare minimum, what people do not expect, I think it's hard for him to be a complete bust in this offense. I really do, just with the talent and the coordinators and other tools around him. So yes, there could be injuries, but at the same time, there's not going to be people that have, one, Brad Holmes still has a lot of cap space around the trade deadline, so they're going to be flexible, and they're guaranteed to get another element on offense. So I think that's a huge thing where they can carry momentum even more after the bye week.
And by the way, Jeff, where can we talk more about Lions? What show just premiered this morning, before ours?
If you missed it, I don't know what you're doing with their mornings, but wake up a little earlier. Catch these three on our Woodward Sports YouTube channels. Tuesdays, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for all the scoop on your Detroit Lions. The most in-depth reporting and breakdown of the game, the players, and all things Detroit Lions. Just go to YouTube and type Woodward Sports, and you'll catch the Lions Insider Show again on Tuesdays, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Oh, hell yeah!
Hell yeah, there you go. But we're going to go to break. When we come back, because I do want to get into some matchups here and go through each of the kind of who has the advantage here. It's a fun little game I'm going to play. We're going to go through quarterback, wide receivers, DBs, head coach, running backs, everything, and talk about who has the advantage tonight, the Detroit Lions or the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, but before we do that, Sam Flannel, if we got to have a little celebration before the game tonight, where can we go?
We can absolutely go to Dispo, of course, and experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. With over 12 locations, including their new location that is now open in Whitmore Lake, Dispo is never far away. Join Ermanni and Edwards with Maz and the Woodward Heavyweights broadcasting live at the Whitmore Lake location on Friday, September 15th. Located at 50 North Territorial Road in Whitmore Lake, Michigan. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Good. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no cost? This is exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called the minute-by-minute listing agreement. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-by-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We're going to have a little fun today.
It's game day, baby.
It's game day. And it's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys for joining the show, supporting the show. I do need one favor, though. If you haven't liked the video, please do that. It helps the show, helps the network, so on and so forth. We much appreciate it. Also, if you can't watch the show live, let's say you sleep in on a morning like this, you can go back, re-listen on any podcast platform you listen to, get your pregame experience. Do that. 5-star review. Again, any podcast platform, you get your podcast. Let's get into this fun little activity, I'll call it. And I want to go through, again, the wide receivers, the DBs, D-line, O-line, QB, head coach, running back, so on and so forth, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, and we'll all vote who has the advantage tonight. And JB, I'm going to need some music on this one, too, to keep the vibes good here. So we'll start with our first position group. It's going to be wide receivers.
Ooh.
It's going to be wide receivers.
This is going to be good, actually.
And we'll total it up here because it's a lot of guys that are unproven. Sky Moore. Now they drafted Rashee Rice. They got Justin Ross, who's making plays in training camp. But there ain't no doubt the Lions got the wide receiver advantage here because they have one guy and one guy only, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, if Travis Kelce plays and you want to factor him in as a wide receiver, fair. But wide receivers, give me the Lions, clearly.
Yes, we are talking wide receivers, not tight ends yet. We'll get to that. And at wide receiver, it is absolutely the Lions. And I know that the Lions definitely have a lot of guys like Josh Reynolds or this version of Marvin Jones or Khalif Raymond that we don't think are anything special, but they're solid, kind of like a lot of the Kansas City Chiefs receivers like MVS and even Richie James or people like that, or an up-and-coming Sky Moore. But the difference is the Lions have a top 10 wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I think you would win the argument if you say that the Kansas City Chiefs do not have a single top 30 wide receiver on their roster. Their only hope is Kadarius Toney, and he spent a big portion of his career being hurt, and he's going to be a little bit hampered going into this game. Give me the Lions, and honestly, it's not even that close because of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one deciding factor for me. I actually like Sky Moore, have him in fantasy.
Sure.
So maybe there's a little bit of a, I want the Chiefs to lose, but also Sky Moore to get 6 catches for 100 yards and a TD.
Yeah, we play this week in fantasy, Jeff.
And we do. So
you got Sky Moore, I got D-Mon. Shocker, I got the Lions. You're scared of taking the Lions in fantasy.
No,
I was told.
I have St. Brown in my other league, so I didn't want to have him in 2 leagues. Okay. So I got Garrett Wilson. So Wait till Sunday, buddy. Wait till Sunday.
But without a doubt, Lions have the clear advantage at receiver.
There you go. Yeah, not much analysis for this one. Lions have the advantage. Now, DBs. DBs for the Chiefs. Snead, who's I actually like Snead, and when he came back, I believe it was against the Bengals. He was knocked out early. Super important piece for them, but still, Brian Cook. Give me the Lions.
Yes.
DBs are better. They just are.
The Lions DBs are better. And I'm not trying to discount the secondary when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a lot of young, up-and-coming second-year players like Trent McDuffie, like Brian Cook, like Justin Reed, like Joshua Williams, who got a lot of valuable experience on the way to a Super Bowl. But still, the Lions, quite frankly, have more depth, more experience, and more talent. Are you trying to tell me that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Tracy Walker, Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, they're obviously better overall as a unit than the Kansas City Chiefs? I know you talk about L'Jarius Sneed. Let me give you a quick stat really quick. L'Jarius Sneed last season, when targeted, allowed an 89.2 passer rating, which is very, very good. Cam Sutton allowed a 69.6. So even when you compare number one corners, even with Emmanuel Mosley being out, Cam Sutton right now is better than L'Jarius Sneed, although I respect L'Jarius Sneed. Give me the Lions.
I'm looking at it like this. I think the Chiefs have better cornerback play. L'Jarius Sneed, I think, is a fringe top 10 cornerback in this league. And when you talk about like the quarterback rating allowed and stuff, they're playing in different division. The Chiefs are up a lot more. Like this context, and I'm not just saying that just to you. And then you go to Trent McDuffie. I think he's really solid. I think the Chiefs probably have a better cornerback room, but the Lions' safety depth, when you add it, and when you add in Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs, etc., I think it overtakes it because they have Justin Reed, yes. But Justin Reed ain't no C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And I couldn't even tell you their second safeties, but he's no Kirby Joseph. They don't have a Brian Branch on that roster. They don't have Tracy Walker. So when you add the safety depth in, I think DB as a whole, it has to go to the Lions.
Yeah, and again, you look at the DBs, and then we'll talk about them at least matching up with the Lions wide receivers, but at least for the Lions DBs, I mean, you can't really argue much, at least on paper. The Chiefs have played together. We've seen it, right? They're one of the younger secondaries last year, and they won the Super Bowl. So they put it together against some pretty damn good teams. But the other part of it is Jerry Jacobs under a pass rating of 70 allowed last year. Cam Sutton under a pass rating of 70 allowed last year. Emmanuel Mosley not going to play, but even if he did, you got another guy that allowed under a 70 pass rating. So on paper, and Cam Sutton played a pretty good division.
Yeah.
So like there you go. There's the data for Cam Sutton. I like the secondary a lot, not even factoring in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who people forgot led the league in interceptions despite not playing the entire season. Then you got Kirby, who's one of the most up-and-coming ball hawks. This isn't drinking the Kool-Aid. This is just facts. If you watch football, you know who Kirby Joseph is. So give me the Lions secondary. Now, I want to ask this question because I wanted to go through wide receivers and DBs because then my follow-up question would be how they match up on each other. Lions wide receivers on Chiefs DBs. You confident? What are your thoughts, Sam Flannel? They're
Lions
probably
wide receivers on Chiefs DBs. I would say that it's, a little bit, I would say it's kind of a wash, but at the same time, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the factor. Amon-Ra St. Brown is better than any Chiefs defensive back. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a better wide receiver than L'Jarius Sneed is a corner. He's definitely a better wide receiver than Trent McDuffie, this version, than Trent McDuffie is as a corner. I understand, like I said, the Chiefs have a lot of very, very young, very promising defensive backs, but they're all second-year players. I think that they will have a little bit of trouble even hanging with guys like Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones, and Khalif Raymond. I say the Lions have the slight advantage when you're talking about head-to-head wide receivers versus DBs.
What about you, Lucas? And I'll say this before you go. There's nobody in that secondary besides Sneed that I fear. So, not fear, but, I'm worried about. And they're probably going to put Sneed on Amon-Ra, and at times they're going to try and double him or put all the attention on Amon-Ra.
They're going to have to bracket Amon-Ra.
Bracket Amon-Ra. But the other part of it is Khalif Raymond. I think people sleep on his route running and how smooth he can create space on his own. So I'm more confident in what the Lions have at wide receiver. I am.
Yeah, I mean, there's two great coordinators in this game, too. You got Ben Johnson for the offense for the Lions and Steve Spagnuolo for the defense of the Chiefs. So that's going to be great to watch as well. Both of these guys are going to be playing.
Chess match.
Yeah, it's going to be a chess match for sure. But the man you just said, Khalif Raymond, that's what does it for me because he had more separation against man coverage than anybody in the league last year.
It's crazy.
And when you add that and he's the over-the-top element, That's going to help Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if Amon-Ra St. Brown is cutting up, then Marvin Jones will be cutting up through the middle, Josh Reynolds, etc. So I'm going to go Lions on this one, but it's close. And especially with the coordinator play, I understand Ben Johnson's a wizard, but on the defensive side, Steve Spagnuolo is as well.
He's damn good. Underrated, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I want to go to another matchup here. Defensive line versus offensive line. And we'll start with the Chiefs defensive line against the Lions offensive line, because without Chris Jones, you saw the pressure stats. They dropped from a team that's one of the best teams in the league getting pressure to one of the worst teams in the league getting pressure. Without Chris Jones, they're not going to be able to get through to that offensive line, at least not without Chris Jones. They just aren't. We're talking about a top 2 offensive line. We're talking about guys that are all, I would say, borderline elite, most of this offensive line. I mean, Frank Ragnow is up there for one of the better centers in the NFL. You got Taylor Decker, who's a serviceable tackle, but still good enough. Solid tackle. Then we got Penei Sewell. What's he going to look like now in his 3rd year? I'm excited, and I think they're going to be able to hold up against this Chiefs defensive line. I don't see Goff getting much pressure on Goff, this Chiefs defensive line. I just don't, especially up the middle where Chris Jones was. I think Goff's going to be comfortable this game sitting in that pocket.
Sure, and I agree with that. But first, where did Jared Goff go to college? Of course, California. And do you love college football? It's the Woodward Sports for the Love of College Football pregame show. Spencer Raxter, myself, Flannel Sam, Easy, and many more will get you pumped up every Saturday morning from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Whether you are a Sparty, Wolverine, or a fan of that other team in Ohio, we welcome you to love your Saturday with Woodward Sports. And yes, I 100% agree with you. I think we all agree that the offensive line is the strength of this team. Of the Lions team. If Chris Jones were playing, I would say that it would be a very, very tough matchup because he is that good. He had 15.5 sacks. He was first-team All-Pro last year. But when you look at the Kansas City defensive line without Chris Jones, the starting edge rushers are listed as George Karlaftis and Mike Dana. I would say that Decker and Sewell will be able to handle them pretty well, especially given the fact that Chris Jones, if he doesn't play, won't be commanding those double teams, and if somehow they can get a deal done, he will have played with no practice.
Right.
And then you look at the interior of the Chiefs defensive line without Chris Jones. Their starters are listed as, let me pull this up, Derek Nottie, who, by the way, was the 119th rated defensive tackle last year by PFF, and Tershawn Wharton, who played 5 games last year and had a PFF rating of 55. I think that the Lions will be able to, and I don't use this term lightly, manhandle the Chiefs defensive line. I think that might be the difference in the game, because the Chiefs defensive line without Chris Jones is quite frankly one of the worst in the league. I'm sorry.
And quite frankly, speaking of Frank, they don't got Frank Clark either.
Hey,
so
that's a great point.
There you go. And the other part of this, Lucas, and we're not idiots, without Chris Jones, Steve's going to find ways to be creative. Rushing the passer, he's going to find different blitz packages, obviously without a guy like Chris. Okay. I mean, it's going to open up other things for this offense too, right? I mean, you got guys that are going to be legitimate threats. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs now is looking like he's going to be a big threat in the passing game, but what do you expect out of this Chiefs pass rush? You know, even if they are creative, you worried?
No.
Okay.
Even with Chris Jones, man. Now, Chris Jones would have had an impact. I don't want to sound that. But this would have been a close call just because of the talent and depth of the Lions offensive line, because these are some big boys now. The Lions offensive line. You got Jonah Jackson, and he literally goes by Big V. Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker on it. You think George Karlaftis? If Penei Sewell's put Micah Parsons in a phone booth, George Karlaftis is sniffing Jared Goff, and that's the best edge rusher they have. I'm sorry, but this is why the Lions, I believe, are going to win this game tonight, is because they are going to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to get to the second level where their best players are on the defense right now, Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, and that's where you get the strength of your team going up against the strength of the Chiefs team. And I love it because you know you have behind them David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jared Goff is going to be sitting clean. And you know what happens when he does that? He's efficient. He doesn't create turnovers. And when you go into Arrowhead, that's the key.
Look at that.
I'm fired up, boys.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting here.
I know.
I'm just sitting here getting juiced up thinking about it.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. Let's go on to the next matchup here. Actually, we'll go to break, and then we'll get back. We'll go through a couple more. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Ron Kopp Jr., who does great work for Arrowhead Pride. And he's going to help us kind of go through some of things we don't know about the Chiefs as we're talking about them now. But let's go to break. Sam Flannel, could you tell us about the best defense? Because Lions are going to need a good defense tonight.
Absolutely. They might be the best defense in the NFL if they were in the NFL, but they are home security. And you can let our Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call them at 1-800-STAY-OUT. That is 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Have you ever argued with your little brother? How about some random guy you're stuck in a room with for an hour? Flannel Sam and Spencer Raxter are at each other's throats. One Spartan alumni and one Walmart Wolverine are locked in a room with nowhere to hide. You're welcome. Whether it's go blue or go green, you can go to woodwardsports.com for all the action. Coming soon to a device near you.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or order a steak online at fairwaypacking.com.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. More to get to. It's game day for the Detroit Lions taking on the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, which, again, guys, you're going to want to stay tuned for that. I mean, the shows are going to be covering, of course. We got the Lions pregame show tonight as well, so a lot planned for today before the game. And we have our watch-along stream.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can't wait for that. I'll be there. We'll all be there watching the Lions game together.
We'll be having a good time, too.
We'll be having a great time. I can't wait for that as well. It's going to be during the game, so come to WoodwardSports.com or the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Go watch the stream, man. The watch-along party. It's going to be a blast. Let's continue some of these matchups. I want to move on now and talk Lions defensive line on the Chiefs offensive line, because I think we can say that at least on this Lions defensive line, a lot of young talent, a lot of guys you like, but nobody that's besides Aiden or maybe Houston if you count what he did last year, which is impressive. But he did it in a stretch of games. We got to see him do it again and be a guy who can be there every down, which I don't think yet he is. But regardless, your confidence level. I know you love Aiden. But the rest of the guys, an Aleem McNeil, a Pascal, a Houston, whoever, Romeo Okwara, against that Chiefs offensive line, it's pretty damn good.
So the Chiefs offensive line to me is a tale of two O-lines. I think when it comes to the center and two guards, I think the Chiefs offensive line is one of the better in all of football. You got Creed Humphrey and Joe Tooney, who were both second-team All-Pros last year, and Trey Smith, who is solid. I think they will have very little trouble with the interior of the Lions defensive line with guys like Aleem McNeil and whatnot. But when I say a tale of two offensive lines, when you look at the Chiefs tackles, they don't really scare me a whole lot. Donovan Smith and Juwan Taylor. Did you know that they were the 55th and 56th ranked PFF tackles last year, respectively, which by PFF's definition, and I know PFF isn't everything, would make them two of the worst starting tackles in the league. I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying those are the numbers. And I am extremely confident in the Detroit Lions edge rushers in terms of winning those matchups. matchups with guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who I think is going to have a 15-sack year, James Houston, who I think could also be double-digit sacks, and John Kaminsky, who could break out even further off of what he did last year. So to me, it's a little bit of a wash, I would say, in segments. The interior, I would give to the Chiefs. The tackles versus edge rushers, I would give to the Lions.
Yeah, I would, for at least for me, I'm confident in the Lions' offensive line against the Chiefs' defensive line. I think they can at least hold their own. Now, defensive line against the Chiefs' offensive line. The Chiefs' offensive line is damn good. I mean, if you want to say Lions are 2, the Chiefs are 3. They're right behind them or in front of them. It's debatable, however you spin it. But regardless, they got a challenge in front of them. They do. And again, if you want to count the linebackers too, because they're going to be blitzing too. Jack Campbell's going to be trying to get after the quarterback. He's going to be all around following Patrick Mahomes around. So you got that too. But Aiden's got to have that game. Like, he's got to come out like he did against Green Bay on primetime last year to close the season. Aiden's got to insert himself. He's got to let everybody know and remind everybody, yeah, I'm the 2nd overall pick. I should have been the 1st overall pick. Go out there and ball out. It's a big one for Aiden, no doubt about it. And if Aiden's playing like that, then it spreads. I think you got the offensive line focusing on Aiden. Now Houston gets loose, or Romeo Cora gets loose. Your guy John Kaminsky gets loose. Maybe my guy Josh Pascal gets loose.
Sure.
Like, it's going to start with Aiden. He's going to have to generate pressure pretty consistently, be stout against the run as well, because Aiden can play both. He's great.
Yeah, he can.
I'm not as confident as I am, like I said, with the Lions' offensive line against their defensive line, but the Lions' defensive line, I think they'll hold their own. I do. They just got to contain, man. That's it, because Mahomes will get out with his legs. He'll make plays.
And that's what it's going to be.
That's the number one thing for me.
I love the talent this Lions' defensive line has, but week 1 against a great offensive line, and most importantly, the man behind them, Patrick Mahomes, is going to make it even harder on him. That's why I'm leaning towards the Chiefs, because Jawan Taylor, I know his PFF grade might have not been the highest, but he balled out last year. And I think what he brings, he's an athletic tackle that I think is going to complement Holmes pretty well. I don't think he's going to be some dominant bodyguard, security guard for Patrick Mahomes, but at the same time, like, Patrick Mahomes creates plays better than anybody on the field, and in the NFL. So when you add that in, again, it's not that I think the Lions' offensive or defensive line is completely outmatched here, but I got to give the advantage to the Chiefs, because I think this is the one area besides quarterback where you like, yeah, kind of got to give it to him here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. What about you guys? At least for Aiden, how big of a moment is this? Like, I would argue he has to have a game to kind of set the tone on this defensive line. Huge.
I mean, we talked about it this morning. He put on weight over the season, and there's been a lot of talk about him and what he's going to be able to produce for his 2nd year. And I think, he figured it out towards the end of last season. We saw him stumble a little bit at the beginning of his initial season, his rookie season, and now you see him working his way up. And he has to keep that momentum and show that it wasn't just a little bit of magic at the end of the season.
What about you, JB?
I definitely think this is a game where you want to see if he's improved from last season, which, as Gabby said, he's worked out a lot. He's got in between some skilled players and learned a lot more, and he's put on some muscle. So you want to see that step forward that he can take. But if I'm not entirely confident on it, I know there's a man that I can go to for the perfect betting decision. That's one man at Woodward you need to check in with, and that man is Booner of Woodward Bets. Have no fear, Booner is locking in all football season to bring you the best picks possible. Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Just go to YouTube and search Woodward Sports.
It's big time. There you go. Woodward Bets. Booner, he'll be on the Lions pregame show tonight, man. Maybe he'll give out a couple little nuggets for the people.
He's got them ready.
He's got
them ready. Don't you worry.
Let's do it. I'm going to get to some of these comments for people.
Shout out Joe Schmo in the chat, too. He just gifted 10 memberships.
Joe Schmo.
That's making somebody's game day right there.
Joe Schmo's,
it's like the stocking stuffer.
Yes.
He's giving the chat a little stocking stuffer.
Yep, he's for the people.
Shout out.
He is for the people. Mike Bell says GJ is the battery, Jeff. I was told that's his nickname. He's the battery.
That's a dog right there.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I love the Lions, man. But I cannot wait. Do you guys, I posted earlier on my Twitter, but do you guys remember that hit that he had on Isaiah Pacheco in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
And then you know who Isaiah Pacheco has to face week 1 of the next season? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man. And you got to get through Jack Campbell first. You got to get through Malcolm Rodriguez first. And now I understand that Malcolm Rodriguez is the most talented, but that motherfucker knows how to lay the boom a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson behind him. We saw what Brian Branch and Cole Beasley sent him to retirement home pretty much.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm going to get into some of that too with our good friend now, Ron Cobb Jr. will be joining us in a couple minutes. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like that's the guy, man. Like he's got to have a game. And I said this the other day, and I'm going to say this take now. I'll kind of tease it because I'll talk about it later. But Brad Holmes built this team now because I'll say this. You need takeaways to win. That's going to help your chances against Mahomes. That's simple stuff, though. Like Dan's preaching that. But Brad built this secondary to take the ball away. And now you got a guy in Mahomes that rarely does give the ball away. You're building the secondary to go create turnovers. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Cam Sutton, guys that are ball hawks. Get their hands on the football. That's going to be big time tonight, man. They're going to need a turnover. I think that'll help them, their chances, whether it's from Mahomes or just forcing a fumble, whatever the case may be. But this secondary, you got to take the ball away.
Well, 100%. And I'm the biggest Patrick Mahomes slappy there is. But it's not like he never throws interceptions or never turns the football over. He had 12 last year. And I think Aiden Hutchinson will be able to get, at the very worst, semi-consistent pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And I think he ends up with a sack. And one of the reasons you bring in C.J. Gardner-Johnson is that you mentioned it. Kirby Joseph, we already saw him for the Detroit Lions, is a proven turnover creator. He had 4 interceptions last year and 2 forced fumbles that turned into Lions recoveries. And then you bring in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who last year had an interception per every 2 games he played. 6 interceptions in 12 games, which is absolutely remarkable. And from the secondary, it's not all about creating turnovers and interceptions, but it is a little bit. Ask Ed Reed. I'm not saying C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kirby Joseph are Ed Reed. I'm just saying that they have that ball hawk capability. They just have that in him. And I think Patrick Mahomes, he is a guy, and again, biggest Patrick Mahomes fan on planet Earth.
Oh, we know.
He throws the ball up for grabs maybe at least once a game. And this year, you've got 2 pretty damn good ball hawking safeties that might be able to pick one off.
And people are already chiming in here about that. Mahomes has yet to throw a pick in a season opener, so
right, yeah.
that would be historic if you do pick a ball off by Mahomes. But it's just how this works. And you could argue too, the Lions are the better, if not the best team that Mahomes has faced in home openers. Like he hasn't faced great teams, and that's what people don't understand either. Like yeah, he's tearing up week 1. But the Lions, I would argue, is the most complete roster that he's beaten. Maybe you go back to 2018 to the Chargers, but specifically right now, I think as a complete roster, I like the Lions. Now, we'll see. Taking the ball away and saying you're going to take the ball away are 2 different things. We'll see if the Lions can get that done. It'll help their chances greatly. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll be joined by a very, very special guest over in Kansas City.
The enemy.
Kansas City.
Enemy.
He's not the enemy. He's not the enemy. I don't want Ron to get those vibes out there, Ron. We want to ask him questions. He's going to be an informant. There you go. Look at it as an informant. All right. He's going to come in. He's going to tell us some things we want to know. Inform us about the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe things we don't know, or enlighten us. It's going to be a great conversation. You're going to want to stick around for that. But before we get to our good friend Ron Kopp Jr., I got to tell you about Big Boy, because guys and ladies, burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. It's burger time. Try the best cheeseburger or their new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Craving chicken? Try the Dolly chicken sandwich, or turn up the heat with Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Upgrade your regular fries with their chili cheese or loaded baked potato fries. Again, all of this at Big Boy.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
No Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Calling all landscapers. How would you like to landscape like a legend? Register for your chance for 4-time Stanley Cup winner Darren McCarty to work your crew for a day. That's right, Darren McCarty on your zero-turn, weed whipping, and edging for your favorite clients. Sign up today at OutdoorEquipco.com. That's OutdoorEquipco.com.
Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button on the stream. They're crushing the like button today. Everyone's fired up for the Lions game. I'll tell you what, though, it does help the stream, helps the algorithm, helps the network, so we much appreciate you for that. But it is time to welcome in our special guest, Mr. Ron Kopp Jr., the lead analyst for Arrowhead Pride. Welcome to the show, Ron. Thanks for joining us, man. Really.
There you go.
Oh, I think your mic's...
Yeah.
I think you're...
just excited to be.
Oh, there you go. You're good. Sorry, your mic was just cutting out a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, Jeff. I'm just excited for the game tonight, man. Arrowhead. I will be there, actually. You know, I cover the game most times. Don't go to every game, but I'm going to be there tonight giving the Chiefs a good vibe. So I'll be on the feet, or I'll be, in the stadium, for the big game for sure.
Ron, I want to start off and just ask you, because I know you obviously have been doing great work for the team already, but at least from our perspective, we hear about the Kelce stuff, we hear about the Chris Jones stuff. Can you give us a little bit of an update on both those players, assuming Chris isn't going to play? But I saw Chris was at a charity event too. He was getting interviewed. Can you give us an update on both those guys?
Jones situation, it is just frustrating at this point, man. He's someone that, he says he's asking for a raise, and that's fine, but at some point, you're under contract. You should report back, to the team and make yourself valuable. Continue to look like an elite player so you can hold up, and try to get that contract the next offseason. But, obviously he just still thinks he should get that Aaron Donald kind of money. This Nick Bosa contract may impact that as well, but he's staying pretty firm, it sounds like. But with the Travis Kelce situation, that happens 2 days before the game. That's all of a sudden, just going to throw a wrench in the offense, where this offense was already dealing with a little bit of turnover with Juju Smith-Schuster, obviously, departing, McCole Hardman no longer kind of that weapon in the offense. They got to kind of figure that out. Not having Travis Kelce either, all of a sudden, Mahomes is going to have to find out who he relies on, right? So, not having him, I think Sky Moore, guys like him, Noah Gray can step up too, the backup tight end to Travis Kelce, but, it is going to impact the offense quite a bit. We've only seen one game of Mahomes starting without Kelce that in the COVID season, just because Kelce had a COVID test. So yeah, it's not something we've seen a lot. So it's definitely going to be a challenge.
All right, I have a question. So for you, somebody as a Chiefs insider, is there anybody on the Detroit Lions who you fear could be a matchup problem for any position on the Kansas City Chiefs?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the obvious answer, I think. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. When you look at the fact that the Steve Spagnuolo defense, not knowing, how they're going to exactly handle a guy they haven't seen yet, right? They're just probably going to trust him to trust their defense to handle him as a running back. But if all the rumors are true that we're hearing, that he is going to be this very unique guy that maybe doesn't get used exactly as a running back, and the Chiefs still treat him as one, that's going to leave a lot of opportunities for the Lions to exploit them one with, guys like Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, guys that are solid tacklers for sure. We feel good about them tackling, but maybe not on those kind of guys in the open field. A guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, and a guy like Drew Tranquill as well. The new linebacker we signed from the Chargers. He's been athletic. He's shown a lot of good stuff in training camp, but at the same time, Jahmyr Gibbs, that number 12 pick for a reason. I do think if they really feature him and get him in bad matchups with linebackers and safeties, as much as we feel good about our linebackers here, that's just a hard matchup for anybody.
Yeah, and Ron, I appreciate you coming on, man. My main question and concern right now has to do with Kadarius Toney. I think he's your guys' best playmaker as far as the receiver spot. You guys obviously traded for him for a reason. He was a big reason you guys won the Super Bowl. So what's the extent right now? What's his status look like as far as the injury with him coming in? Because I know he's kind of bruised up, but I think especially with no Kelsey. He's huge for you guys tonight. So what's the extent of his injury right now?
So yeah, he injured himself before the first practice of even training camp. So we didn't really get to even see him at all. This training camp, he was just taking a punt return and just tweaked his knee a little bit. And they gave him complete rest. They haven't seen him at all in the field until after the preseason ended, where there's no more public practices, so no one else has been able to see him on the field. We've seen little clips, but I was pretty surprised, I will tell you, that they allowed him to play week 1. I really thought they'd take it easy. Hey, might as well let him ease into the season, maybe start him on the IR, so he has that 4 games. Because the rest of the Chiefs receivers have been so impressive this preseason. And it's actually that's kind of been the silver lining of all this, is it's helped the, guys like Rashee Rice, Justin Ross, even a guy like Sky Moore too as well. Just continue to develop. Richie James, I should say too. The veteran has gotten more reps and he looks good with Mahomes. The chemistry is there. So, that is the thing. It's been a silver lining kind of thing, but I'm surprised. They obviously think he's good to go if he's playing week 1. I don't think they would caution it at all if there was any trouble there.
Okay.
Again, we're joined by Ron Kopp Jr., the lead analyst for Arrowhead Pride. And Ron, I want to ask you, and I've always wanted to ask someone this, because we talk and always speak with Detroit sports fans, guys that are drinking Kool-Aid, and everyone's pumped up for the Lions season. But I want to ask you, how is Kansas City approaching this new look defense? What have they talked about? What do you think about it? Because this is a defense for the Lions last year that was dead last in the NFL, especially that secondary. They made a lot of changes this season. What kind of respect, at least in your opinion, are the Lions getting facing the Chiefs in week 1?
Well, that's the thing with the Travis Kelce news, is the Lions have really upgraded their strengths at the safety position, kind of up the middle, right? You got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson now in the mix. You drafted Brian Branch, who, I know has really come on for you guys in the preseason and has kind of almost earned that nickel position, where Chauncey Gardner-Johnson may be playing more of a safety role depending on how it's going. But those are 2 stronger players than you guys had last year, right? And especially with Jack Campbell, the first-round pick as well. I've been saying, hey, those rookies have been impressive, but man, with a guy like Travis Kelce, with Mahomes and Andy Reid, it's going to be a rough day for them. But you take one of those pieces out in Kelce, it does become, a little easier, to maybe take it, or not take advantage. I should say for the Lions, it's a little easier for them to maybe not get manipulated by Kelce when he's, how he does it. He just, he really just sets up linebackers to look stupid and in their zone coverages. He makes them think he's going one way, he goes the other. They may not get as much of that, obviously, with like a Noah Gray or any of the other receivers. They don't have that same, setup finesse, that just back-breaking ability, I guess. So they still have Andy Reid to give them the misdirection to really make them think about it. But without Kelce, that's a lot of the ways that linebacker and safety position get taken advantage of. And y'all are stronger at those positions. So it is definitely one of those things that not having Kelce, we're not going to be able to take advantage of that spot as well.
So, Ron, to me, Travis Kelce and Chris Jones are your second and third most important players by a long shot. Maybe you can throw Creed Humphrey in there as well. So do you think the potential inavailability of Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, could that actually swing things to be in favor of the Lions maybe going into Arrowhead and, dare I say, upsetting the defending Super Bowl champ Chiefs?
So, yeah, I think the Jones news, obviously is tough because the Lions' offensive line is so good, and the Chiefs' defensive line is very inexperienced and I will say not good maybe without Chris Jones, right? I mean, you're talking about guys that, Derek Nottie is someone that, I thought they would maybe move on from this offseason. They brought back, all of a sudden is starting again. The entire preseason, the guy they've been starting for Chris Jones is no longer on the team. They've been starting a guy that was a cut candidate the entire time. We all knew he was going to get cut. It is kind of a mess on the Chiefs defensive line. And so I think that's a big thing. But with Kelce in the lineup, you think, okay, well, you just got to get Mahomes and all them into gear. Without Kelce, though, I think that does make it a lot more competitive for sure. I still have confidence that the Chiefs offense may evolve, maybe use their advantage up front, right? I do think the Chiefs offensive line has an advantage, especially in the interior against the Detroit defensive line. And I do think they may take advantage of that. But we've seen Andy not do that, right? We've seen Andy Reid, kind of shy away maybe from the run game when he should not do that, but with this game, without Kelce, your top weapon, maybe some other things, again, Kadarius Toney hasn't practiced all preseason. He might still need to be, slowly put in. So it is interesting. I do think the Travis Kelce thing is a much more bigger impact to the Chiefs, impact of maybe losing than the Chris Jones thing was.
Yeah, Ron, and one more question. This is kind of a compound question. Obviously, losing Eric Bieniemy is a loss, but in my opinion, Matt Nagy, he's a good offensive play caller. I think he's a good mind. So what do you think about Matt Nagy replacing Bieniemy, and what matchup do you think Nagy's going to try to exploit as far as like a Sky Moore versus the Lions secondary? What matchup do you think he's going to key on tonight to try to get that Chiefs offense humming?
So yeah, I think the Travis Kelce thing would have been a big one, but now that you don't have that, you have to look to the outside. I do think you're going to see Sky Moore get a ton of targets. He knows the offense now. He feels more comfortable in it. See him kind of maybe be the target leader because especially with Emmanuel Mosley, with the injury to him, maybe they just feel like they can exploit that to the outside to an extent. But I will say, the national media's kind of favorite guy, in the Chiefs receiving corps. The hype, can be a little real tonight because, without Kelce and Justin Ross, right? I do think Justin Ross might be able to step up and have a red zone impact right away, or maybe even just an impact, in general. They've used Kelce as that kind of X receiver isolated on the outside in the past because they don't have anyone else to do that. Well, now Justin Ross is here. He's on the team. They let him, he's on the active roster. So you might as well use him. That's one way they could. And without Kelce, it just may be accelerated in week one. So I'd watch out for Justin Ross on the outside as well.
And Ron, I got one more for you. And again, appreciate you for joining the show. It's great insight. I want to bring up the home opener record for Mahomes because it's absolutely ridiculous in his time. He's 5-0 with Andy Reid, and statistically, the guy's on a whole nother planet. Not planet Earth. He's on a different planet with what he's putting up in home openers. The guy's 5-0, like I said, over 1,500 passing yards, 18 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, and a freaking passer rating of 136.9. And the dude is lights out. Your opinion, though, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. I want you to kind of give your thoughts on the game itself and who you got winning. And if you do have the Chiefs, what's their path to victory here at home against the Lions?
I do have the Chiefs winning this game. I still feel like they can win this comfortably if they execute, what they can do. I still have them winning 34-27. That's not comfortably, right? That's a one-score game. But I do think with the Chiefs' offensive line advantage, I really feel like, with Aiden Hutchinson obviously being an impact player, the Chiefs have always had good plans, for those elite edge rushers. And if they can kind of handle him, I think they can handle the rest of the offensive line. Give Patrick Mahomes clean pockets to find those guys, even if he doesn't have Travis Kelce. They will run the ball. I think you will see Isaiah Pacheco, get a nice load of carries and so I do think I have the Chiefs winning 34-27, but it won't be easy. I think when I say comfortably, that one score, it just means the offense is maybe humming, but the Lions are going to give them a scare on offense, in my opinion. I think the Chiefs defense is going to struggle. Maybe in the first half especially. They might settle in second half, with the home crowd behind them and Spags maybe making some in-game adjustments. But I think 34-27 is where I want to go.
Yeah, 30. That's a one-score game. Like, I know people, Lions fans drinking Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid might be upset with you, but that's fair. One-score game. We're on the road. It's a big one. I can't wait for it. Appreciate you, Ron, for joining us. You guys can check out Ron on Twitter, Ron_Cop on Twitter. Again, he's a lead analyst for Arrowhead Pride. We have to get you back on someday, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate. Sorry for the camera troubles and stuff, but you guys have a great setup, so I definitely would want to come back on. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no problem. There you go. That's Ron Kopp, lead analyst for Arrowhead Pride, giving us the Kansas City side of things there. So it's interesting. I love it because we spend so much time covering the Detroit Lions and talking about the Detroit Lions that you get a different input on like what he sees for the Chiefs. Like he does what we do, but for the Chiefs. And there you go. Great insight by Ron Kopp there.
Absolutely. And the thing that I took away from it more than anything are the Lions are clearly on his radar. And I understand that maybe if a fully healthy and in camp for the full camp Chris Jones and Travis Kelce were available, maybe they wouldn't be. But still, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs' last 5 years of success, 2 Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. The Lions, an up-and-coming team, maybe they would be looked over by the Chiefs, but I think the national media and even Chiefs fans, who shouldn't really be afraid of anybody, are kind of thinking maybe the Lions can actually beat us, especially with the Chiefs not at full strength.
And it's funny from his perspective, because I think a lot of Chiefs fans kind of echo how he feels about Chris Jones. It's like, what's this guy doing? Get the guy back on the field. Like, I don't care you want more money. Get on the field, man. And then there's people like us in Detroit that are like, I get it. Get your bag, Chris.
Of course we get it. After week 1.
Yeah, after week 1.
Be available for
hey,
week 2,
Chris,
man.
you take all the time you need. You take all the damn time you need, Mr. Chris Jones. Like that, but I love it. It's a different perspective, and it's always good to hear different perspectives, not just the same old stuff from the same old Lions fan. So we'll go to break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Mr. Matt Broder here to kind of help us go through the why this game, I think, could be a must-win for the Detroit Lions. And do you look at it like that? Is that fair to say for week 1 of the NFL season? Matt Broder will help us answer that question when we come back. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance, Sam Flannel.
Absolutely. Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is going to be awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Glorious Cannabis. You see that Honolulu Blue strain right there? You need something to smoke on pregame for today on game day? There you go. You got Glorious Cannabis. It smells so good, so I was told. It's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. So smooth, I was told. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off or online at gloriouscanna.com. We're back. It's the morning Woodward show. We got plenty more to get to. It's Lions game day. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got done talking to Ron Kopp Jr., who, again, does great work over there in Kansas City, kind of giving us the side of the spectrum we don't really talk about too much. Now we're joined by Matt Broder. The stash is loose, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's loose. What's up, boys? Good morning.
Good morning. How was your show last night?
It was phenomenal.
Show, the Woodward Nights. It was good.
Yeah, we've had an awesome turnout. Fans in the chat these last 2 nights. It's been really great. Thank you guys for everyone showing up.
You guys have been killing it, Broder.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
I have this new petition. I'm going to start calling Booner. It's Boner now.
That's what I hear. It's a common mistake.
Yeah. Now it was a mistake. Now I'm just saying it.
All right.
So
you do you.
Like Don Beat says, Boner with an exclamation point. So
we are enemies now, right?
I was told we are enemies now. But you guys pass the baton to us every night, so I like that.
Yeah.
From you guys to the morning show, it's great, and we love you guys. So hope you guys succeed on there. Go support the show, man. Maybe not tonight because it got the Lions game, but future reference. Woodward Nights is where the place to be. Let's get into look at Booner. Jeff is creating an enemy. Love you, Booner. Let's get into it. Is this game a must-win for the Detroit Lions, and how big of a momentum swing would it be if the Lions beat the Chiefs? And I guess I'll start by saying I think this game is super important. You can argue one of the most important games just because it's week 1. You look at the narrative with Dan Campbell since he's gotten to Detroit. Slow starts have kind of been the common theme here, and it's something that you want to change, right? The team's improved, much improved. They have little weaknesses as they did the last 2 years, and I think it's time they get off to, finally, a good start. Beating the Kansas City Chiefs, you follow it up, you go home, you take on the Seahawks. I think those 2 games are so it's enormous. I mean, two of the more difficult teams you're going to be facing all season. So I think it'll start there. But the other part of it is, it's Patrick Mahomes, and you know what this means for a team. If you can go to Arrowhead, you beat the Super Bowl defending champions, or the Super Bowl champs now. That's big time, Broder. But I want your opinion before we get to everybody here. How big of a game is this? Is it a must-win for the Detroit Lions?
It's a huge game, but it's not a must-win.
I
like what you said. It's one of those that could bring so much more energy to the city, if you can believe that. It's one that will really kickstart the season for the Lions. And although I don't feel that Dan Campbell is under some outrageous amount of pressure or he's on the hot seat for the season, I don't believe that. I do think there's pressure for him, and I talked about this last night on Woodward Nights. I think there's pressure for him to get this team out to a hot start. You know, they started slow last season, and even they laid an egg in a couple big games that they needed. So I think coming out and continuing the momentum that they had for the last 10 games of last season is important. You know, all these decisions of not playing the starters in preseason, right? Sort of new training, a new training mentality. I think it's important for them to come out ready to go.
And I think there's the Dan Campbell aspect of it, which the team get off to a good start. And I don't think 0-1 would be like detrimental, where everybody would hit the panic button. I agree with you. I don't think it's a must-win, but I would say, Sam Flannel, is you have guys that, like a Jared Goff, who is looking to repeat what he did last season. Aiden Hutchinson had a great rookie year, second in defensive rookie of the year voting. He needs to repeat what he did last year. Houston, a lot of guys need to show us, Rick Ross, like he says best. That's the also part of this game that's important, is a lot of guys got to show that they could do what they did last year. There's a lot of reasons why this game is super important, but I wouldn't say must win. And you think even if they drop one right now to the Chiefs tonight and lose, you still have the Seahawks at home. But again, it puts more pressure on the Lions to go and get that one.
No, this is certainly not a must-win game. Anybody saying that it is, I think, is putting way, way, way too many of their eggs in the Kansas City Chiefs basket, because even with the uncertainty of Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, this is still Andy Reid and this is still Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead. Did you guys know that since 2018, when Patrick Mahomes took over as the starter, the Chiefs are 32-9 in the regular season at Arrowhead, and they're the defending Super Bowl champions. It is a very, very tough place to play. What I would say, though, and this is to look ahead just a little bit, it is a must-start 1-1 at worst. If the Lions start 0-2, the numbers are just against them, because did you know that since 1970, only 9% of teams that start the season 0-2 make the playoffs? Wow. And I think we all agree that if the Lions somehow miss the playoffs, it would be planets colliding disaster level. But having said,
I'd kill a man.
Yes, I would too.
Kill a man if the Lions miss the playoffs.
And you know what? I will help hide the body, and I will kill a man, and you will help hide that said body. But anywho, let's talk about the why.
Grab their flannel, and you got another one for the collection.
Hey,
the algorithm is not listening to this conversation. Yeah. You're most algorithm.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't say that it's a must-win, but I think with Travis Kelce and Chris Jones being at best hampered, at worst out, at least for Chiefs fans, I would say that there is some pressure on the Lions to go out and get this game. You will never find a game at Arrowhead, probably in the last 5 years or even maybe in the next couple, that is as winnable for any road team as this one is right here. Because I told you about that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes record in games at Arrowhead being 32-9. You know what most of those games had in common? A healthy Travis Kelce, a healthy Chris Jones, and for the majority, a healthy Tyreek Hill. And you may think to yourself, Kansas City looked just fine last year. They won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes won MVP and Super Bowl MVP after Tyreek Hill had left. But you know what also happened last year? Travis Kelce had a career year. He played all 17 games, was first-team All-Pro. Chris Jones had a career year, had his first-team All-Pro, and played all 17 games. So if you're going to get the Kansas City Chiefs, this is the time to do it more than any time probably in the last 5 years and in the next couple of years moving forward. Is it a must-win? No. But is it a much more winnable game for the Lions given all the circumstances surrounding Kelce and Jones? Absolutely. So I think there's some pressure on the Lions to go out there and take care of business.
And that's where I was going next. I'm glad you brought it up, Flannel, because I want to make it clear that I don't think this is a must-win, as in like everything's over, burn everything down. It's like that's not the must-win I'm going after. But win a game you're not supposed to win. Like, that's the other angle I'm taking with this, man. Like, go win the game. Like, that's now I'll get to that. No Kelce, no Chris Jones. This has never happened in Mahomes' career.
Patty's never played without Kelce.
Well, he played with him without one time because he tested positive to COVID, but it was one game.
Yeah,
and
it's just.
It's not like there's not a big enough sample size to know there. So to Lucas's point, and without Chris Jones, never happened. Both of them not playing at once. That's significant. Now, the other part of it is, I'm as a Lions fan, and I know many people can relate to this. When is it our time?
Fans.
When is it our time on week 1 not to be the team that's just hey, go keep it close? I'm sick of that, man. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of the keep it close narrative. Why can't the Lions win tonight? They're healthy. And it's been a while since this team has walked into the season pretty much fully healthy. I mean, Emmanuel Mosley's going to miss the game, but he'll be back, and you kind of already expected that. Why can't it be the Lions' time tonight? The Kansas City Chiefs, they're great. Mahomes and Andy Reid, can't bet against them. But you know what helps? And that line kind of shows it when Kelsey and Chris Jones are out.
Yeah.
It helps that line. And I already put in my bet, and you could see it tonight on the pregame show. I'll give you a little teaser of what I did. Don't know if it'll hit. Don't listen to me. But regardless, the Lions, and I'll throw it to you, Lucas, go win. You have a great opportunity to beat the Chiefs and give them their first L, at least in Mahomes' career, on week 1 season openers, even on the road. Go show the world why they were right if they did hype you up this offseason. Show the national media, show the local fans and local media what the Lions are building. There's substance there. Not saying if they lose, everything gets discredited, but man, if they win, you don't think Peter Schrager is going to want to talk about the Detroit Lions if they beat the Kansas City Chiefs? They're going to be foaming at the mouth to talk about the Lions. I think for them and for this team to keep belief alive, go beat the Chiefs. You know what that will be like? If you beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that's a game you could reference later in the season. Remember when we took down Mahomes at Arrowhead? We did that. You don't think we can do this, whatever this may be? It's a great starting point for this team, and I think if the Lions, I know they're going to be locked in. They want to win, obviously, but don't just make it close. I think that'll be fine, but go win the game. Not saying it'll derail
this thing.
No, not saying it'll derail the whole season if they don't, Lucas, but go win the game. I'm sick of it. Just keep it close.
Go win the damn game. Go get you one.
Start 1-0. Be closer to winning your division. Make Lions fans happy. Lucas, what do you think?
Listen. The Lions put the NFL on watch when C.J. Gardner-Johnson signed, and that changed everything for this franchise. And it marks that the NFL knows, and it's not just the community around it, it's the players. The players know something special is getting built in Detroit. We drafted Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporte. You know it. We went down the line. Brad is loaded up in the offseason, in the draft, in free agency. He has done it all. We have great coaches. Chiefs, great coaches. But they are down in talent. It feels like a must-win game. It is not. But for the Lions' sake, go fucking win it, man. It's
yeah! Tell him, Lucas. Tell him.
Go into Burrowhead and put an egg. Put an egg on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's the mentality that they need to have. Dan Campbell's going to have these boys juiced. Aaron Glenn gonna have that defense juiced. And when you put Cam Sutton, Kirby Joseph, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they're gonna keep it going, baby. They're gonna keep it going for 4 quarters. This is gonna be a good game. But you know what it's also gonna be? A Detroit Lions fucking W.
And it's
doesn't
not
matter
just
if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes.
There you go, Dan Campbell. He said it best. I don't give a damn what you got. 1 ass cheek and 2. What do you say? One toe, 2 ass cheeks.
Doesn't
whatever.
matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes.
Who cares?
Beat your ass.
You can have 4 ass cheeks. I don't care. Go beat the Chiefs. And the reason why it would be so significant, it's not just players that this would be significant for. What about Aaron Glenn? Like a guy who got a lot of scrutiny last year, and now you open up week 1 against the best quarterback head coach duo you will see this entire season. There's not a better one on this paper I'm looking at for the schedule. So why not? Week 1, Aaron Glenn gets a chance to prove himself along with this new look defense. It's more than just for the players. The coaches need this too. Ben Johnson, he gets his test, getting a matchup with Andy Reid, the best play caller in the NFL. One of the, if you don't agree, he is. Regardless, he is. Ben Johnson gets to show out. A lot of coaches need this too. Like I said earlier, Dan Campbell needs this. I mean, this is a guy who, again, the Lions have not started great. If you beat the Chiefs, I think everybody forgets about those slow starts.
Oh, 100%.
You start 1-0, you beat the defending or the Super Bowl champs. Everybody just kind of forgets about what happened the last 2 years. So it's big
2 years. Keep it going, baby.
I'm talking with Dan. But yes, we could go back.
The same old Lions narrative in general. It's put to rest.
But now, I will say this. I'm not going to go Ryan Ermanni on you and say the Lions are going to blow out the Chiefs. I'm not going to say that, or Braylon, because they both feel that way. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I keep seeing these scores, right? Kansas City 27, Lions 24. It's always a 3-point win. You know what that tells me? Lions got a shot tonight.
They're scared.
They got a shot
They're
tonight.
scared.
And nobody wants to pick the Lions, and that's fine. Don't pick them. And I don't think they even deserve at this point to be picked, to be respected. But I'll tell you what, if they win this game, Sam Flannel, they'll be respected.
Oh, they will 100% be respected.
Even without Chris Jones and Kelsey, I don't give a damn about them missing the game. Oh, they missed the game. You beat the Chiefs without. I don't give a damn. You know what I got? 1-0. 1-0.
On ring night to kick off the NFL season. So yeah, no Kelsey or Jones, but there's still immense pressure on the Lions.
It's a win or lose league. Yep. You won. End of story.
Well, and as much as I hate the way narratives get twisted, you know what the narrative will end up being, because it always is like that the Lions went into Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes. That's what it's going to be like at the end of the year. But I would disagree with that, but that's another story for another day. But that is what is going to happen. It won't matter because Patrick Mahomes is universally regarded, and I think it's no doubt as the best quarterback in the NFL. Andy Reid is universally regarded as the best coach in the NFL, and I think they have the chance to be the GOATs at both when it's all said and done. So a Lions win against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, the defending Super Bowl champions, on ring night, it counts the same no matter what. Speaking of the Lions, where can they go for coverage both tonight and for every Lions game?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can join me tonight, 6 o'clock. Tune in.
We're cranking it up, Hefe.
Pre-game show, it's going to be turned. I mean, we got Lucas, Michael Gentry, if he feels so kindly to join us tonight. Boomer. We got the entire crew. You're going to want to be there. Special guests popping in and out of the chair. It's going to be a great show tonight to preview the game. You're going to want to be there and not miss the show live again at 6 p.m. tonight. Join us in it all season long, not just tonight, but all season long for an action-packed Lions pregame experience. What do you think about what I said there, Broder? Am I out of pocket? What do you think?
No, in terms of a must-win.
Yes.
No, you're not out of pocket at all. Like we covered, it's an important game to win, but go out and show us. Go out and give us that W. Show us. I'm with you, Jeff.
Yeah, show us. There you go. Rick Ross even agrees. We'll go to break. When we get back, I want to get into our Lions predictions. It's time. Lions, Chiefs. We'll get our game predictions, our scores out there. Then we'll get to a special segment, 9:41. We're going to kind of talk about what Gabby's going to be doing in the future for this network, because she's got big things planned, and we're going to get her thoughts on that as well at 9:40. But 9:30, let's get to some game predictions. But first, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness, because Chris Jones, if he's playing tonight, he's going to have to go to Planet Fitness, man, to get in shape, because he did not attend training camp. But you know what? Planet Fitness can help you out with that. You join a local Planet Fitness. You can visit www.planetfitness.com. You join for just $10 a month, and you get a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, full body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training as well. Again, that's planetfitness.com.
Let's see it, Jeff. Let's see it.
Let's go. Your fitness is essential.
Winners, losers, pushes and draws, over-unders, prop bets, futures and spreads. Are you sick and tired of your picks being losers? Do you want to learn how to bet like a champion? Well, Woodward Sports searched the globe for the most dangerous man with a bet slip in his hand and gave him a show. Coming soon to Woodward Sports. Tune in every weekend as we introduce the greatest gambler to ever walk the earth.
Hi, I'm Booner, and I don't lose.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
The Academy Award, ladies and gentlemen, they got a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field, which can also be used for 7-on-7 football. Again, how could you not? I mean, they got small classroom sizes, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, academic games. All you got to do, sign your child up today. Go to theacademyaward.net for more information.
How do you not?
How do you not? Damn, I miss Fish. All right, let's get to our game predictions. There you go. Sam Flannel, I'll start with you. What do you got?
Ooh.
Lions versus Chiefs.
You know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. I have come full circle. I got the Lions winning this one because of just how highly I think of Chris Jones and Travis Kelce and how important they are to the Kansas City Chiefs. We're pretty sure Chris Jones isn't playing unless they can get a last-second deal, but he will have played with no practice anyway, and I wouldn't put him on the field. And with Travis Kelce, he might play. It goes from doubtful to questionable to doubtful, but still, he hyperextended his knee a couple of days ago. And here's where I think the Lions will really be able to get the Kansas City Chiefs. That run game, that offensive line versus the Chiefs' very, very mid at best defensive line without Chris Jones, I would say bad. I think this is a game where David Montgomery shows out. I wouldn't be surprised if Jahmyr Gibbs, they get him involved, even giving him a couple of between the tackle carries. And who knows, maybe he breaks one. I respect the hell out of the Chiefs linebackers with Bolton and Gay, but still, I think the Lions will be able to create a push up front so that they'll at least be able to get to the second level consistently, the Lions linebackers. And also, I personally think that this Lions edge rushers, Aiden Hutchinson, John Kaminsky, and James Houston will be able to get to Patrick Mahomes, and hopefully, especially when it comes to Hutchinson and Kaminsky, as Lucas put so eloquently yesterday, will be able to set an edge and keep contained. I have confidence in them. I think they get to Patrick Mahomes at least twice for sacks. And also, when it comes to the Lions secondary versus the Chiefs wide receivers, I think the Lions have an absolutely huge advantage. And this is why you get depth. This is why secondary depth is so important. We're talking about an advantage even with Emmanuel Mosley, who is your cornerback 2, being out, because in steps in Jerry Jacobs, who allowed less than a 75 passer rating when targeted, opposite a guy who allowed less than a 70 passer rating when targeted in Cam Sutton, with safeties like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Tracy Walker, going up against Kansas City wide receivers who there is a lot of question marks, I would say. I think every single person in the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver core is at least somewhat of a question mark, except maybe Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who I think at his best is like a 750-yard wide receiver. So I think that could hurt Patrick Mahomes, especially with the uncertainty of Travis Kelce. So I think those are the advantages in which the Lions can absolutely hit them, and they win this game. The Lions 27, Chiefs 24.
I got the Lions as well, and I'll tell you why. Travis Kelce right now questionable. I'll see. It's the same knee that he's had prior knee injuries to in his career. So if I'm not just saying this because I'm a Lions fan. If I'm Andy Reid and I'm Brett Veach, and I'm telling Travis Kelce to sit out.
Sit this one out.
Yeah, and not just saying that, again, it's unbiased here. Because you got to think the break they have till their next game, and included in that, you need Kelce to win anything. So why play him in week 1? I don't know. That's just me. We'll see if he plays. If he does, he won't be 100%. At least there's that. But still, not even 100% Travis Kelce. Still probably the best tight end in the NFL. So there's that. But again, he won't be as fluid like Braylon kind of so eloquently put yesterday on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. He won't be as shifty with that bad knee. But still, we'll see if he plays or not. I think the Lions have the advantage here. Great offensive line, a defensive line that's missing Chris Jones, big part of it. You see the pressure stats when he's not there. They're damn near last in the NFL. We'll see who could show up, Nick Bolton, so on and so forth. If guys can make plays, I don't think the Lions offensive line will let them do that. I see a big game out of Amon-Ra St. Brown tonight, as well as Jahmyr Gibbs potentially in the passing game. So give me the Lions to win 28-24. In Kansas City. I think it's a close one, but I think the Lions will edge it out tonight and start 1-0. Storyline tomorrow, Lions undefeated, 1-0. What do you think, Lucas?
We love that, Hefe, because you know I'm rolling the same way. I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, but it hasn't been ignorant Kool-Aid, okay? If Chris Jones and Travis Kelce were playing in this game, I think the Lions still would have a chance, but I would definitely be leaning towards Kansas City.
Agree, by the way.
Lions are going to go into Burrowhead, dominate that line of scrimmage. They're pulling out a 28-24 victory. They're coming back to Detroit. You can feel it in the air already. Like there's just this warm, almost like full feeling in my chest right now, because it's like, you know, we're going to win this game. It's just a completely different era, I think. Sammy Laporte is going to go out there, make a couple nice catches. I don't think he's going to be ballistic, but he's going to make a crucial timing play. I think a crucial third down catch to move the chains. And I think this defense is going to be flying around. I have all the faith in the Lions. Brad Holmes has set the Lions up for success, and we've got the coaches and the roster in order to carry it out. So I'm going Lions 28-24, but it's going to be close.
What about you? What do you think? What do you think, Gabby?
So yesterday on the show, I said that the Lions would win. And then I got a little scared. And this morning I said that they're going to lose.
Gabby!
But now I'm
on.
back on this show, and this show is like
No, you gotta stick
injecting
to your
Kool-Aid
take.
in your veins. But I have to stay with what I said this morning. I'm picking with the Chiefs, and I'm going to say 33-31.
Still a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Hey.
Chiefs win. There you go. We got to have some pushback. I mean,
Close,
we're all
though.
drinking Kool-Aid. What about you, JB?
Gabby, I can't believe you. Really?
I know I flip-flop, but it's so hard on this show.
Believe you.
Can't believe this. Well, I guess I got to come in and be the voice of reason here. Look, Travis Kelce will work out this morning. They're going to see if he's going to be good to go. He's a complete game time decision, which I do think he will play tonight, but it will only be limited. And if anything, breaking case of emergencies for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is going to have to figure this out on his own, but as everything you guys have said, this team has been built to succeed. From offense to defense, draft picks. Give me the Lions in this one, 34-27.
Wow. And
34-27.
oh yeah, and JB, where can we watch along?
Oh, well, you know we will be live for the live stream, but there's nothing better this fall than watching hours of college football and pro football. Sit back, crack open a cold one, line up your bets, and tune in to watch college and pro football with your favorite WSN personalities. Watching all Michigan and Michigan State games and every Lions football Sunday. Enjoy the Woodward Sports live game, a watch party. Watch parties with Woodward Sports live on YouTube. Keyword Woodward Sports. And we will be live tonight, too.
Yes, we will. We will. Let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll get into some conversations with Gabby here. She'll preview what she's got coming up for herself in the future with you on Woodward Sports. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Randy Wise because, again, what could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac play golf? Play golf yourself and be treated like a celebrity. That's what. Stop in any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak after. Compliments of Fairway Pack & Co. Make the wise decision. Get to Randy Wise today for your chance to win.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have D-Mac on your landscaping crew.
Are you a diehard college football fan? Well, it's your lucky day. Join special WSN guests like Spencer Raxter, Flannel Sam, and more every Saturday. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Saturdays and tune in live from 8:30 to 10 a.m.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win a 100K Vegas giveaway? Take your closest friends and head over to the city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win the 100K Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink that tastes great and the choice of people who desire to look and feel great and be the best version of themselves. drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Again, your support does not go unnoticed. We love you guys, man. Hit the like button.
Smash that like.
You guys have been crushing it.
We got 1,100 in here. 369 likes. Great number. The 369. Let's get to 500. I mean, we've got 1,100 people in here.
That's big time.
Hit the like real quick. It's Lions game day. just spread the love to the Detroit community because we're going to be happy tonight, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I want to get into what, some stuff with Gabby right now, but I do want to preview tomorrow for the show. We're going to do call-ins, whether they win or lose. So please, if you're going to want to be here on the Morning Woodward Show, if you want to call in, you react to people like Super Raside who calls in. He ain't lasting more than 3 minutes, Super Raside, if you try calling in about that Colin Kaepernick stuff. But if you want to react to the game, we're going to be taking phone calls tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll let the people chime in. We'll give our thoughts on the game itself. A lot of big things planned for tomorrow. And I promise you, no BS calls. We'll cut it off as soon as they start babbling. So we'll get to Gabby. But Gabby, you got something you want to tell the people?
Yeah. So, as you may have seen before this episode, we had the Lions Insider Show. You're going to want to tune into that. We have it going on 2 times per week, and you'll be able to see me on the Lions Insider Show 2 times per week, hosting alongside with Matt Broder and Terry Foster. And with that, I'm going to be slowly phasing out of the morning show to focus on Lions coverage for this season. So you'll get to see me in this chair a couple days a week for the next month, and then I'll be bidding farewell to the morning show, and you'll get to see me early mornings 2 days a week for the Lions Insider.
No, God, please, no, no.
Because people forget you're doing. I mean, how many hats do you wear here? I mean, you're already doing so much already.
Just a few.
It's a lot, So for her, at least, you're still going to be on with Terry and Matt Broder doing your Lions Insider Show as well, doing stuff behind the scenes, going out to Allen Park. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So Gabby's not going nowhere. From the company perspective,
You'll still
she just
see
won't.
me.
Yeah, she just won't be on the morning show consistently. You can still pop in as a guest, and we'll get your thoughts on Lions stuff like that. But people.
It's been awesome being here and being a part of the show with you guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been fun having you two.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
You guys got a good thing going, though. I'm happy to leave it in the hands of these 4 gentlemen. They'll take care of
It's
you
just
every
too much
morning at 8 a.m.
testosterone, I think, at this point. We got Lucas over there barking.
Flannel having his freakouts over Eastern Michigan and Michigan State.
It's just,
Testosterone, just flowing with testosterone, this guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Definitely go to Michigan, Gabby.
Yes, this is ironic that this is the day that I do say that I'm going to just be focusing on the Lions show, and I did pick the Chiefs. But someone has to, someone has to bring a different perspective.
Let's see here. People are already chiming in. Coach Walk 37 says Gabby's going Hollywood like Jeff.
Jeff's been Hollywood. He didn't go to Hollywood.
Dude, what's up with the shade? Like,
there's no shade. There's no shade. I directly said what I said.
There's no
I'm
shade.
looking you dead in your eye.
Yeah, I called your ass out. There's no shade. But there you have it. Yeah, I mean, you guys were live this morning. How is that going to work in the future? Are you going to be live now, or is it going to be pre-recorded? Or
We'll be premiering you'll see an episode every Tuesday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
And it'll be
so
live.
We'll have the preview of the game and then the recap of the previous game. So we'll have all that coverage for you and more.
You can never get enough Lions content. I mean, we got
No.
pregame shows,
Especially
postgame
this
shows, insider show. We got everything.
Think about it today. We have Lions content starting at 7 a.m. all the way up until after the game. I imagine that post-game show is going to go till probably, what, you think 11:30?
Yeah.
We're running. I'm staying the night here. I'm sleeping on that couch right there.
That is a lot of Lions coverage.
I already know, like, by kickoffs at what, 8?
Hold on. Put up
8:20.
Hold on.
I'm going down the deep end. I mean, it's just it's Christmas. It's 4th of July.
I want the people to kind of weigh in here. Do you actually believe Lucas will sleep at the studio?
I have my Lions blanket in my car.
Dude, he's sleeping at the
Hold on,
I
want the people to chime in. You think Lucas will actually spend the night here?
I'll give Twitter updates on Woodward through the night. It'll be like 3:30. Whatever bottle I'm sipping on.
You're sipping on, dude. You got.
Lions dog! Catch you 8 to 10 in the morning, baby. We're running right back in the morning. I already said.
Oh my God!
If
Lions pull off,
look at everybody saying yes. Denver says I'm not questioning it. Hoof-hearted, don't sleep at the studio. You'll want a bed. There are couches here, so I think Lucas he's gonna find a spot to sleep.
Look, when I first moved into Easy's, I was sleeping on a leather couch for like 2 months. Sleeping on a cloth, and I tested it out last night during Woodward nights. I was like, oh yeah, I can get used to this, and I was like, I'll be fine. I could sleep on a wooden floor if I needed to.
Let's see here. People chiming in. Nobody says Lucas is going to have a rough morning tomorrow. And that, you know what, Lucas, you're fighting an uphill battle.
I am.
You're going to be drinking. So, do you have a toothbrush?
Yep.
Okay.
Brought my toothbrush. Brought my face wash.
You got your face wash.
I got it all.
You packed a bag.
He's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'll be looking somewhat pretty up here. I'll be doing my best that I can, but we'll be showing out tomorrow. Even if I'm hungover or whatever, man, right when I wake, I'll be like, the Lions are 1-0. The Lions just went into Burrowhead. They beat Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I'm going to run across the street to Speedway, give me a 5-hour energy, grab a couple cold ones, crack them, and we'll be right back here in the morning, baby.
You gotta be ready.
Man,
won't skip a beat.
That I can't wait for that.
Detroit Arrow says Lucas is young. He can sleep anywhere and wake up fine in the morning. That's still. I could do that.
Facts.
I could do that. I could sleep pretty much anywhere as well. But I don't know. That's tough. I want to still sleep in my bed.
Yeah.
Like, you
Some
know?
of us are just cut different. We're just cut from a different cloth.
Oh my God! It always goes
Brad
back.
Holmes is working at a rental place. Now he's a Lions GM.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you know what else you can't get enough coverage of? That, of course, is Michigan and Michigan State football, particularly Michigan football. And Woodward Sports resident Sparty, Spencer Raxter, and Walmart Wolverine, Flannel Sam go head-to-head in Woodward Sports' latest show, Woodward Rivals. Don't miss Flannel Sam breaking down why this may be the year for U of M, or heavyweight Spencer Raxter body slamming every Flannel Sam stat that comes his way. It usually premieres every Thursday from 7 to 8 a.m., but this is a very special Thursday, and you can go to YouTube and search Woodward Sports. Man, this is honestly, I'm not even kidding, probably the most anticipated and could end up being the greatest day in the history of Woodward Sports. I came in here with an extra pep in my step. I saw Lucas. Lucas always brings the energy. Jeff Iafrate came in. I saw Woodward and Maine already filming their show and recording their show, and I'm just like, it's about to go down. It's insane. We're going to be here all day.
It really is. It's all the anticipation we've been building up through the off season, which, gosh, man, like we talk about this game coming up, but it's finally here. Like enough of the, reacting to all this crap, reacting to the NFC North predictions and reacting to who gives a damn? Now we're analyzing the game. Like, analyzing the game, Lucas. We're breaking down the game. This is what we want. We want to break down the game, the tape. We want to get our reaction.
No college football, baby.
No, and we got college football returning as well. So we got a lot of things coming up, man. Football is exciting. I can't wait. Best sport in America by far. Let's get people are already chiming in. Kalamazoo says the heavyweights lost their minds having the New York Jets ranked top 5. Sam Flannel has no problem with that.
No,
Sam Flannel loves this.
They are they didn't lose their minds. They're actually very, very astute in that ranking, I would say. Astute.
He says astute. Let's see. Enjoy Detroit says, I know where he says, I know where I'd have a good time sleeping, but not going to say.
Who says this?
What are you at the titty bar? Where's he sleeping? Enjoy Detroit? What are you? I don't know.
He's enjoying Detroit. Now. That's all we know.
He's enjoying Detroit. That is fair. Let's see. Bobo Z Clown says Lucas eats gas station sushi. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
I might go across the street to Kroger to get some sushi, but I don't think I've ever had like a gas station meal. I've only had like snacks from there.
That's fair.
Like those.
You haven't had one of the like little taquitos? What do they got?
Dude,
those are bomb.
Have you? Okay, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Okay.
Have you seen the people working at gas stations most of the time?
Oh,
hardworking people.
Great guy. Hey, Steve at My Speedway's not. He's a great guy.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying most of the time, when you go in there, like when I go in a gas station, I'm hungry. It's usually like the graveyard shift.
Are you?
I'm not eating that metal rolling food that just sits there.
I'm sorry, Lucas.
Listen.
Is it not good enough for you? You want salt and pepper on it too?
No, I don't want anything on it. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it.
I'm Hollywood.
I'm not doing it.
I won't touch that gas station
I'll get a pack
food.
of Oreos.
That gas station food is just...
You're spot on there.
No.
I'm not getting gas station food. I'm sorry. The Toledo gas stations, I'll tell you what, man. They'll scar you. I've had some memories in gas stations in Toledo that aren't the most pleasant ones.
Well,
I try to stay out of gas stations as much as I can.
I can't speak to Ohio gas stations or Toledo gas stations, but to Eric Allen, he says Jeff is at the Speedway on 21 or 23. 21 is Steve, my guy works over there. Great dude, by the way. Actually, he's done some stuff in his time on Earth. Like he's served in the Army, he's served as a police officer, he's tatted from head to toe. Guy's chill though. I think he whooped some guy's ass in the middle of the night at Speedway.
There's some like troopers that work at gas stations.
Yeah, Steve's a big dude, man.
Like I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about though. The people that are like gas stations that like just hate their lives and they're just mad to be in there. It's just, but there are some ride or die gas station guys. Like that's facts. When you find a right gas station that's clean, then we're talking. I'm still gonna get snacks out of there just because I don't really trust where they're getting the food from. But there's some gross gas stations out there where I've just been like, yeah, I'm cool. Don't need it.
Now what? I'll tell you what. We'll go to break. We'll get back. We'll answer some questions, and then of course we're going to go a little over 10 o'clock today because it's a big day and the people deserve it. So it'll be a little longer show, but we'll go to break. I got to tell you about our friends at SMA before we do, and it's because the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast is "This Is the S Word" helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com. It's thesportsma.com.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Wondering where the best Lions tailgate is? That's easy. Eastern Market, the official Detroit Lions tailgate party at Shed Number 5 in Eastern Market. Woodward Sports will be broadcasting live for every home game. 3-star Michelin buffet featuring Chef Aaron May, VIP parking, and even tickets if you need them. How do you sign up? Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com and tailgate like a VIP. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at 500 likes.
That's what we like to hear.
We're setting records for a live show in likes. And I want to keep that climbing because the people have been so gracious to us. Let's keep that thing climbing so that way Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, we can look at them and say we have more likes than you all time. So let's just do that. Love you guys, though. It's competitor. It's just who I am.
Braylon, you might be the best receiver in Michigan history.
We got to go after
you. ain't getting more likes on game day than the Morning Woodward Show.
Hey, listen. Love them. Love them. Love Maz, Ryan, and Bray.
This is our show.
But 8 to 10,
this is our show.
We own this time slot, so it is what it is. I'm going to talk my ish, yes. Let's get to mailbag. Let's answer the questions and see what we got today from the people. Jack asked, mailbag, how drunk is Lucas going to be tonight? I don't know if you can measure that, Lucas. I don't know.
Listen, thing, Jeff, you can attest to this. Like, I'm a guy, when I get intoxicated, it's kind of hard to see. Like, a lot of times, like, for me to get, like, messed up, like, it's got to be a lot. But I'm not going to get, like, sloppy where it's, like, ruining the quality of the stream. But the juice will be brought, baby, both literally and figuratively. That we'll be there. We'll be ready. That stream's going to be a good time. Easy's going to be showing up. We got all the guys coming out tonight, so it's going to be a good time. You guys will definitely want to watch that while you're watching the game as well.
I can't wait. The boys will all be there.
JB, you're going to be there, right?
Oh, of course. You know I'm going to be there, man.
Me and JB will be popping bottles.
Oh, yeah.
I like this question from Herb Nash. He said, what would you like to see more, Michigan win the national championship or the Lions win the division and a playoff game?
Lions all day.
I want to hear Flannel Sam's answer.
You can take your little natty all you want, Flannel.
Are you really asking me a Michigan natty or a Lions division win and playoff win? Of course it's Michigan natty. I want a Michigan natty more than I want anything in the world. I want a Michigan natty more than I want air to breathe and food to eat and liquid to drink. Come on now. I never have to hear any crap again about Michigan being a regional program or they just win Big Tens. That's all they care about. Give me a Michigan natty and inject it right here.
What if it's a Michigan natty, but JJ throws 2 pick sixes and they still win?
I don't care. Okay. It's a natty. You think my JJ fandom overtakes my Michigan?
That's your man.
Come on, Lucas. I mean, Lucas. Jeff.
You're always used to saying, come on, Lucas. Let's see. Noah Milbeck, any chance Goff throws for 300 yards today, considering his history playing outdoors?
I don't think so.
I would say I don't think he has to throw for 300 yards for them to score a lot of points. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think.
I think they're gonna, that offensive line is gonna be able to dictate the entire game, and I think Goff can have 250. I think that's fine, 220 even, and they'll be all right.
The Lions don't want Jared Goff throwing for 300
You
yards.
don't.
That's not their game
Because that
plan.
means you're probably
They
down.
want to dominate the Chiefs. They want to impose their will, as Dan Campbell would say. And I 100% believe that is their game plan. If Jared Goff is throwing for 300 yards, well, Patrick Mahomes is probably lighting up our defense. And if that's the case, if there's Travis Kelce might play. There's a chance. I know Braylon, former NFL guy, says guys like Travis Kelce, when they get injuries where they can play, they're probably going to at least try. So we could see him out there, but not at 100%. If Mahomes or Goff is throwing for 300 yards, it's probably not a good sign. But it's not like we're automatically losing. But if I hear that in the morning, I'm expecting a Lions loss. But I don't think that's what's going to happen by any means.
I love this comment too, and it was about every like that we get on this channel or on this stream. Lucas will drink that many ounces of beer. I think that could be debatable.
We don't want him dead.
Well,
you ain't killing this.
453.
I'm a machine.
All right. I wouldn't bet against you, Lucas.
I'm a machine.
That has got to be like when you were doing that last night in the heavies. I was at home dying, dude. That drop gets me every time, dude. I'm a machine. Let's see. Eric Allen, Kelce will be a red zone and short yardage guy only if he suits up, but I don't see him playing tonight. We'll see. I think Kelce, honestly, my prediction on it. Should he play? I don't think so. Will he play? I think so.
Well, that's
my take.
That's the thing, and I've heard this take around, so I didn't make this up or anything. But if you're Travis Kelce and you're the Kansas City Chiefs, should you really be that worried about a September game? When you're the Kansas City Chiefs, all you care about is getting to the playoffs and winning Super Bowls.
Right.
And with Travis Kelce, if they rest him for this game, he kind of has another 10 days to rest it again for week 2. And I think by week 2, he should probably be fully healthy. But if he goes out in week 1, maybe he risks hurting it worse. So if I were the Chiefs, and I'm not just saying this as a Lions fan wanting the Lions to win, I would rest Travis Kelce. The risk isn't worth the reward.
No, it's not. And like you said, they're focused on making it back to the Super Bowl, not week 1 against the Lions.
Sure.
Week 1 comes first to get there, but still, I think missing one game for Kelce, you should just miss the game.
How about this question from Cheesa851? What Lions player do you think will have the most surprising game tonight?
Ooh, good one.
I think I'm going to stick with, it could be 2. I think it's defensively. That's who I'm looking at. It could surprise, it'd have to be. At least for me, defensively, I would probably say Jack because I think for the linebacker core, there's guys like Anzalone who's going to play a lot. Rodriguez will play. Derek Barnes will play. But I think Jack Campbell's impact will surprise people because although you might see other linebackers, you're going to be like, yeah, this guy stands out from the rest. And I think he'll make some plays tonight. The other one I thought about was Brian Branch, but
would it really surprise you?
That's what I'm saying. I love Brian Branch. I would say Jack Campbell. Jack comes out and he has a great game.
All right. This is really, really tough. I would probably say, you know what? I'm going to go with your guy. I think Josh Pascal gets a sack. There, I said it. Josh Pascal gets a sack. Probably not against the interior of the Chiefs' offensive line, but if they move him to edge at some point in the game, I think Josh Pascal gets a sack. And I think personally that is a surprise, considering he kind of had a bit of a lost season last year, although he did play 10 games and have 2 sacks. Give me Josh Pascal with a sack.
I love Josh Pascal.
I know you do.
He's a dog. I can't wait to see him tonight either. And then the rest of this defensive line, they're going to be super important if the Lions are trying to win. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Let's get to some more questions here. Jesse, mailbag. What are the go-to drinks for guys and lady tonight for the game? Gabby's probably going to bring a fancy drink, and Lucas will be drinking some Busch Light.
Some more Fireball.
Dude, you're a sicko, man.
Fireball's not bad.
See, it's not good by any means. But in high school, I drank in high school.
You like Fireball?
What's wrong with Fireball?
I like Fireball.
Tastes like ass cheeks. You like Fireball?
Yeah.
You guys all like Fireball?
Yeah.
It's fine.
I don't like Fireball, but
Who likes Fireball?
I can tolerate the taste of cinnamon. That's why I go for it.
If you drink Fireball, you're.
I'd rather have Fireball than like Jaeger. Jaeger's
I don't mind
syrup.
Jaeger. I like it.
Yeah, of course.
I don't drink Fireball. And this one, Soft Jones, Fireball is for the kids.
No, and that's facts. 100%. Like, he's not wrong.
And Eric Allen says Fireball is trash unless you mix it with rum chata, which is that. There you go. I'm talking just drinking, taking those little shooters of.
If those are ice cold.
Fireball.
Delicious.
Ooh, that just gave me the thinking about Fireball, dude. I don't know how you. Oh, jeez.
I'll be cracking open a long
Detroit
drink, though.
Steve says, Jeff, I knew you lived in
That's
my
the way
trailer
to
park. Because of what? Because of my comment about Jaeger?
What'd he say?
He says, Jeff, I knew you lived in my trailer park. Actually, funny story. I did live in a trailer park back in the day. That is true.
Oh, I thought you were going to get mad.
No. What?
I thought you were going to snap. You're like, funny thing is.
No,
I thought you were about to pull a flannel from yesterday.
I did. Speakeasy Sports says, Tequila Night, Jeff. Life with Cool says, Jeff, how do you know what cheeks taste like? We don't need to get into that. Let's see here. Soft Jones says, I used to steal those Fire and Ice. Oh, gosh. Yeah, those, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, now
Fire and Ice.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, now Soft Jones. Now we're getting into some, from back in the day, before loss prevention.
All right.
That's hilarious.
Well, speaking of the Detroit Lions, after the game, that was not the best transition, but anywho, the Detroit Lions, where should you go after the game? Of course, to our post-game show at Woodward Sports. And Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway will be hosting our Lions post-game show after every Lions game all season long, and he will be joined by, of course, the great Sam Stick Day. Tune in on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Maz and special guests each week directly following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Let's head to break in a second here, and then when we get back, we'll get into a little more discussion of the game itself, because there are some things I want to talk about. Lucas brought up league leaders for the game, right? Or at least the game leaders.
I want to figure out, because I was thinking about it. I was like, obviously we want Amon-Ra probably going to be leading and receiving, but who's going to be second? Okay. Yeah. Who's going to lead the team in tackles? Who's going to have the most sacks? So I want to run through that with you guys.
Let's do it.
I think it'll be a good little segment.
All right, we'll see you guys after the break. Stick with us. We'll be back in a little bit.
Are you a diehard college football fan? Well, it's your lucky day. Join special WSN guests like Spencer Raxter, Flannel Sam, and more every Saturday. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Saturdays and tune in live from 8:30 to 10 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
You know what time it is. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show.
We're running it over, baby.
Yeah, we're OT.
For the sake of game day, for the love of the game, for the grind.
Overtime,
We're
baby.
extending it for the people today, baby. So drop some likes. Let's get to 500. We made that goal the last segment.
Yeah,
we better
30
hit
away.
500 for this segment.
Yeah, and by the way, might be cheating a little bit because we're going to hit the 500 over the normal show time. I don't give a damn. 500's 500. Hit that like button.
Win's a win.
Win's a win. Morning Woodward Show. Appreciate you guys. We wouldn't be where we are without all of you. So, again, thank you for that. Let's get into the game, Lucas. You had a very interesting question. You could start us off with what category?
I'll give you in flannel, JB, and then we got Broder in the chair right now. So you guys feel free to answer to all of them. First one, though, is who will lead? And this is on the Chiefs and Lions side. This is game leader, not just Lions.
Okay.
Who will lead tonight's game in rushing yards?
Pacheco.
Think Isaiah?
Ooh.
Yep. I'm gonna say Isaiah Pacheco because I think they need him to even make this game, a little easier on Mahomes. I think they're gonna need Pacheco. Doesn't mean Monty won't play well. Doesn't mean Jameer won't play well. But I think they're gonna need Pacheco to go out there and get 80, 100 yards on the ground. So I'm gonna go with Pacheco. But again, still think the Lions are gonna win.
I think it's going to be David Montgomery personally. I already said before that I think the Lions offensive line will manhandle the Chiefs defensive line. And I honestly think David Montgomery could go for 21 for 100 and a touchdown.
So
I think he has one of his best
yards
games.
per carry jumps up?
Yes, I do.
Do you think it at the end of the season, Flannel, Who will have higher yards per carry? Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery?
Herbert. Because he has...
Fuck you.
Hey, you know what? I also predict, though, David Montgomery, he could get 4.4. That'd be his career high.
Whatever. I think we both expect David Montgomery to have success, correct?
Yes, especially tonight.
That's all that matters then. JB, Broder, who leads tonight's game in rushing yards? We'll go to Broder first.
It's going to be David Montgomery. They're going to give him the ball early and often, and then if they get a lead, they're going to just keep pounding it right behind that offensive line.
All right.
That's easy right there. David Montgomery, as Flannel said, I can see 21, maybe 100 yards and at least one touchdown out of it. But, yeah, David Montgomery's going to lead in rushing.
All right. Who, not named Amon-Ra St. Brown, will have the most receiving yards in tonight's matchup?
Sky Moore.
Ooh.
I think, Sky Moore, because again, I think he's going to lead the Chiefs in receiving. So, but I think Amon-Ra will have the most for the game. So, unless the passing attack is clicking, you got Khalif with 100, Amon-Ra with 100, Sam Laporta with 350 yards. I mean, who knows? But I'm going with Sky Moore. I think Sky Moore is going to play well tonight. He's going to get the targets. He's going to get a ton of targets because Kansas City needs him to play well. I think Jameer could contend for that. But I don't want to sit here and just say, all Lions play. You got to be objective here. I think Sky Moore will play and play pretty well.
Ooh, I've given this some thought, and this is an interesting one. Because I do think he will be somewhat compromised. But I'm going to go with Travis Kelce, honestly. Just because...
So you're banking on him playing?
I think he's going to play, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to target him. I think Travis Kelce is that type of guy who has that warrior mentality. He doesn't like to miss games, and he's getting his second ring. It's the ring ceremony. He's going to want to go out there and just go out and play and join in on the fun because he's a guy who likes a good time and a party. And tonight should be, at least in the Chiefs' eyes, a coronation. And if Travis Kelce plays, I think he will still get targeted. I don't think he will be as effective as 100% Travis Kelce. But I don't know. I don't trust any of the Chiefs receivers to really go off. I think besides for Kelce, Patrick Mahomes will spread the ball around. I think Kelce gets 65 receiving yards, and that'll be enough to lead both teams other than Amon-Ra.
Broder?
I think this player is going to have a similar stat line to one he had back in 2018, the last time Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes faced off in prime time, and it's going to be Josh Reynolds.
Ooh.
He went 6 for 80 back in 2018 and a touchdown. I think he's going to be somewhere around that five receptions, 60 to 80 yards. Might get a TD too. He's that safety blanket. Amon-Ra is going to have Trent McDuffie all over him. Josh Reynolds might have a big day.
What do they call him? The Serpent of Death? What's his name? The Serpent of something?
So weird.
I haven't heard that one, but
in Hard Knocks, whatever. Josh Reynolds, great pick. JB, what do you think?
I'm actually leaning someone on the Kansas City Chiefs side on this one. I don't know the status of Kadarius Toney, but give me MVS on this one. Marquez Valdez.
The big playmaker.
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes, if no Travis Kelce is out there, he's going to have to lean on somebody, and I think it's someone who's at least a little bit more reliable. So give me MVS in this one.
Okay. I see a lot of Gibbs, man. People are excited about Gibbs, and I think as they should be. And I think when people think of a receiving back for Gibbs, it's like, he'll catch a couple of checkdowns. Like, no, Gibbs is going to play wide receiver at times.
Listen,
like running routes vertically and like short, intermediate, and deep routes, I think. He can do it all.
And you're not wrong when you say any of that. But I expect, just because of how the Lions, I think, are going to try to prep and beat Kansas City, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a lot more rushes than people expect tonight. Mm-hmm. I know we talked about it on the morning show earlier, or the other day. But when you think about it, if Demon's getting high yards per carry and he's a power back for the most part, it's not like he's slow. But Jahmyr Gibbs just getting through the hole is going to be at least 3 yards every time before he gets contact because he's so explosive. So I think when you talk about when the Lions start to take control of this game, I think part of it could be Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground. So I think he
no Chris Jones either.
Yeah, no Chris Jones. He's faster than any player on that Chiefs defense, so he could have success. But so we just talked about the receiving yards. Not named Amon-Ra St. Brown, who will have the most receptions in tonight's game?
The most receptions?
Yeah.
Oh, besides St. Brown?
Besides St. Brown.
I'm gonna go. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
You think about it, like,
because I'm drawn between. Because we're talking both teams. I could see Kelce if he plays, but if we're talking Lions, there's a couple guys you could see, like Reynolds you brought up, Khalif. I could see Jahmyr even being up there.
Yeah,
in
let's leave Kelce out of this conversation. Just
so no Kelce. So no Kelce. I'm gonna go with Khalif Raymond.
I like it.
Khalif, give me Leaf. I think Khalif gets up there too.
I am going to go way off the board on this one, but I don't think I'm off base.
Sam Laporta.
Jerick McKinnon will 100%
I got
lead
money
the
on
game.
that tonight.
Jerick McKinnon?
Remember, guys,
he was on a tear at the last part of the season, too.
Dude, Jerick McKinnon basically had a prime Theo Riddick year last year. He had 9 receiving touchdowns, over 60 catches for over 500 yards. And I think something that we need to be a little concerned about is those young Lions linebackers covering a speedy back like Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield. I think, and last year, remember this, the Kansas City Chiefs, they relied more on the short passing game. Guys like Travis Kelce even catching short passes, or even Jerick McKinnon. And I think Jerick McKinnon, especially if Travis Kelce is hampered, which I do think he will play, and I do think he will lead the game in receiving yards, not named Amon-Ra St. Brown. But those short passes to Jerick McKinnon and Jerick McKinnon getting yak yards, I think that's going to happen. I think McKinnon goes for 6 or 7.
That's a great call, Flannel. If fantasy advice for you guys tonight, if you're kind of iffy at like the flex or the RB2, Jerick McKinnon tonight is going to be a great plug and play. For fantasy reasons, Jerick McKinnon's a great start. But JB, Broder, who do you guys got? Broder, go first.
Jerick McKinnon's a great one. I'm going to stick with Josh Reynolds since I already called him out for having 5 or 6 receptions. I don't see one of those guys getting more than him, but Jerick McKinnon, even Khalif Raymond, I think those are 2 great picks. JB, what about you?
I am split between these 2 guys. It's either Gibbs or Lucas, your boy, Sam Laporta.
Sammy P.
Just because I think they're going to be the safety blanket for Jared Goff, especially in this offense right now. If he doesn't have Amon-Ra wide open, Gibbs will be open for him in the flats out there. So it's a toss-up between those 2.
How many receptions you got for Laporta tonight, JB?
Oh.
How many think he gets?
I'll do 6.
6?
Jesus Christ.
Daddy.
Go jacket loading, baby. What do you
That's
expect?
the voice of reason on fire as always.
Okay, all right.
And we'll do this one for the last one of the segment. Who will have, on both sides of the ball again, who will have the most tackles between the Chiefs and the Lions tonight? Who will have the most tackles? Which individual player?
More tackles. Now it depends, because if a secondary player gets the most tackles, now I'm a little worried.
Oh, yeah.
A little worried. It's hard not to say the meat missile, man. But I'm gonna say Bolton.
Nick Bolton?
Yep, Nick Bolton.
Good call. Could have been the Super Bowl MVP last year.
They need him, man.
I don't know about
Could
that.
have been.
He had a big
case.
play. It's 100% Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton is a proven tackling machine in the NFL. He had 180 last year, and
That's
I think,
wild.
and I personally think, here's what's going to happen: the Lions are going to be able to push around the Lions' defensive tackles, which means that Nick Bolton is going to get a lot of tackles after David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs 4 or 5 yard runs, and that's how I think Nick Bolton will get at least 10 to 12.
Okay. JB, what do you think?
The meat missile will impress.
Yeah, you got
tonight.
the shirt on.
Jack Campbell will be flying all over the place. He's going to be unstoppable. Give me Jack Campbell for this one.
All right.
JB says that meat's unstoppable. It'll be flying all over the place. So
damn straight.
I just want to, it's great, JB. I'm with you. Jack Campbell, he could be, but I don't know. Like, it's Nick freaking Bolton.
Yeah.
Dude's gonna tackle everything out there.
180 tackles last year.
He's gonna try and tackle Dan Campbell. He's gonna be tackling everything. So I love it though. I mean, it's hard not to be confident in Jack Campbell, aka the Meat Missile, which you can go get the shirts right now, WoodwardSports.com, on the merchandise store. Look at that, the Meat Missile.
JB just looking smooth.
Guy
man.
is just
the voice of reason.
He really is the voice of reason. How mad would you be, Lucas, if Brock Wright just leads his team, leads a tight end group in receiving yards?
Don't. Fuck Look, me and Jesse Adams got a bet going with James Mitchell, James Mitchell catch it fine. Jesse get some bucks. It's a win-win situation. If I'm not winning, my boy is. But Brock Wright, like, Lions win, great. But you best believe I come in here tomorrow morning saying, what the fuck is going on? Why is Brock Wright on the field when you have Sam Laporta and James Mitchell? Now, if it's like a one-catch touchdown, that's fine. But to lead the game, we'll have issues. But Broder, yeah, that'll be me. Broder, who do you think leads tonight in receptions?
In receptions?
Yep, in catches. Who has the most catches? Both Chiefs and Lions.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Tackles, my fault.
Tackles, okay.
Yeah, my fault.
It's at least his name isn't Michael Bolton. It's gonna be Nick Bolton. I would also keep a little Office Space reference. I'd also keep an eye on Brian Branch. I think the way the Chiefs play, Mahomes trying to escape the pocket, hitting Jerick McKinnon in the flats. Brian Branch might have a big day.
Okay.
Brian Branch.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talk about a guy who could be tackle for loss and sacks. Yeah, he's a machine, dude. Look up football player. Just Brian Branch there, chilling, smiling.
Absolutely.
I'm a machine.
Brian Branch?
That's Brian Branch right there. Yeah, you know, John Fury, I think he agrees that Brian Branch is a machine. I think he would too. He really is.
How
He's
could
incredible.
you not?
How could you not? Stephen Baffy says Brock Wright provides 2 advantages over Laporta, blocking and ability to box out a guy in the red zone. Mitchell's also better at both those than Laporta right now, too. Sammy is the chess
What are we
piece.
doing here? Blocking Brock Wright 100%. But Sam Laporta, I mean, the man's athletic as hell. He's got the frame. Like, his lower legs will allow him to block out linebackers. He will be able to create separation. And the red zone is where Laporta is going to be the most effective, in my opinion. What are you going to do? Line up a safety? Well, he's bigger than the safety. Line up a linebacker? He's faster and more athletic than your linebacker. So in the red zone, I'm sorry. I get that Brock Wright's a big body, but Shane Zylstra caught 3 red zone touchdowns against Carolina. That was his claim to fame. Brock Wright was like a 40-yard, again, crucial play. Like, I'm not discounting the play. But Brock Wright was a 4th and 2, boot to the right, tossed it to him on the left where he had the field to run for like a 40-yard touchdown. It's not like Brock Wright's some red zone demon. Neither is James Mitchell. Like, Laporta has better skill sets than all the tight ends in this room. That's why you draft him in the 2nd round and start him in week 1 against the Chiefs.
No, I agree with you. The person who deserves the most credit for that 4th and 2 Brock Wright touchdown is Ben Johnson for that play design, because Brock Wright was more open than any player I think I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. All he had to do was not drop the pass and not trip, and he's into the end zone. Agreed? Is that yeah, exactly.
And
great play, though.
And someone said, I forgot who, 9 Drinks. He says, best morning show yet. Appreciate you, 9 Drinks, for sticking with us. Yeah, we went a little overtime today. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining the show, joining the program, supporting the program. I'll be back later, 6 o'clock, joining you guys with the boys. Come hang out with us.
500 likes!
Lions pregame show. Yeah. We hit 500 likes. It's a big time. We appreciate you. I want to say this, too. Go Lions, baby.
Go Lions.
Let's get a win. And tomorrow, it's going to be such a packed show, whether they lose or win. It's going to be a great show. You're going to want to be here tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Morning Woodward show. Until later tonight, I guess, for the pregame and for the watch-along, which you guys are going to want to be there because the boys will all be hanging out watching the game. Come watch it with us. Until then, we'll see you guys. Appreciate you for joining the show.